Hey, hello. Hi everybody. Welcome to the Strimstream. I am your host Strim and today we're playing Dungeons and Dragons. Like we do every week, every single Monday, you get to catch me here, and we have a good time. Uh, every week's I try to do something a little bit different, but for the past few weeks I've been doing exactly the same thing, which is playing Monk. Now, Monk is a really interesting character class because it provides. There's just so much different character depth that you can get with a monk, and that's why it's really fun to play. You can play as a punchy guy or a sticky, staffy guy, or you can do some kind of weird broken hybrid where you get a bunch of stats for no reason, and it's really cool. And there's a lot of different ways you can do that. Whether you want to actually go about playing your character as a monk, like as I said, being the unarmed and just punching people, going on like some kind of crazy martial artist like Bruce Lee or any of those amazing martial artists out there. I can't believe I only said one. Anyway, there's a lot of different ways you can play it and really get the experience. But DDO kind of gives you the opportunity, thanks to some interesting levels or ways you can multi-class. Right away, you can see the interest in being a fighter, because fighter allows you to use any weapon while centered, meaning that you could play a monk, but use a different weapon type. Say, like, you really like the idea of being a monk, but whose weapon focus is about scimitars. You just think that's cool. You can do that. If you want to try to build an impossibly strong character and say you want to be like a monk who's got some of the highest critical threat range using a maul who also is dex based, you can do that with a fighter. It's very interesting. You can also just go with your standard monk paladin split, get a lot of defenses, a lot of crazy amounts of saves, and you'll have a good time. So there's a lot of interesting ways you can play monk and a lot of interesting things you can do specifically with monk. It's one of the reasons why I'm so interested in it. Now, as you can see my character, of course, I'm using a staff. The Henshin Mystic Tree is very staff-focused, and so that's kind of the way I'm trying to play this character. And it's a very interesting way to play. There are some problems with playing as a staff character. The biggest problem I can see is that while you get a lot of really cool abilities, and the game wants to synergize you around using some of these great abilities, like Keybolt, Incinerating Wave, and they're incredibly cool to look at, the damage is extremely lackluster. And by extremely lackluster, I mean non-existent. There's pretty much no reason, if you have a two-hander in your hand, to even touch the Incinerating Wave button. Incinerating Wave does almost zero damage, and even the fact that it's amplified by melee power, because melee power is harder to come by than the old spell power used to be, it does less damage overall. So that's kind of disappointing. And the other issue is that since it scales off of melee power, you get a lot of melee power for free out of the Henshin Mystic Tree. As interesting as it is, though, melee power also affects weapon damage, meaning that the stronger your spells get, the stronger your weapons get. Except your weapons crit, and they crit way harder. So, the monk is the Henshin Mystic's a little weird. I wouldn't recommend using any of the abilities whatsoever, like any of the spell-like abilities. They're cool to look at, but they don't really provide a lot in damage for your character. However, the rest of the character abilities are very, very strong. Many of the ones that are the Shintao tree, like Tomb of Jade, extremely good, a stun that basically just works on any target, as well as most of the abilities at the top tier of the Henshin Mystic Tree, both being, Force Punch or Void Touch? Void Punch? Void Strike? Void Strike, that's the one, which does 10d6 force damage that scales with melee power, so it kind of amps up, works in with your regular melee attacks. As well, not just Void Strike, but also you get a top tier ability, either Shadows Cannot Exist Without Light or The Dark Just Before the Dawn. Either one of these abilities, it's basically the opposite of whatever your philosophy is. If you're playing as a dark monk, you get a light ability. You're playing as a light monk, you get a dark ability. And they're both very powerful. One of them less powerful. There's a small heal you can get if you play as a dark monk, which is like 100, which is terrible because it doesn't scale. It's great when you get it and garbage later. But the other one allows you to apply negative levels to all your enemies, which is really cool, and it costs almost nothing. So that's kind of the one I took. That's what I'm experimenting with. And we will be showing off some of that as we get started here. So I want to thank everyone here for joining me. We're going to have a good time tonight. I forgot to load up chat, so I'm just going to load up chat here, so I'm not being like a total jerk and not paying attention to you guys, which is what I standard do. And yeah, we're going to play some video games. Turn on the UI here. Now, of course, I was just talking about abilities, but I wasn't actually showing off a lot of the abilities, so I'm going to do a quick detail on that right now. As I said, the abilities that are extremely strong to the Henge and Mystic, you get, of course, every light cast a shadow if you play as Light Monk. This allows you to cast a whole cascade of negative levels on several targets. I don't know what the range is. I've actually, it's kind of odd, but it is very powerful. I'll show it off in action. Instantaneously taking negative levels on targets with no save whatsoever is amazing. One, because it goes through spell resistance, so it completely ignores that. And two, being able to just do something like this means that if you have very high health monsters, say you're doing Epic Elite right away, all of a sudden you dump their chance to hit, you dump their damage, you dump their saves, and you take off a huge chunk of their health. Even if in Epic difficulty they get it back quickly, they don't regain that health. They just get back up to their maximum. So it's a very quick way to do some very good burst damage. As well, Void Strike, of course, very strong, dealing a lot of extra force damage. And then on Vorpal, your enemy is erased from existence. That just sounds amazing. Now, this would work better if you could combine it with single weapon fighting. I don't know how you do that to get the improved Vorpal, but as a monk, I'm sure somebody will figure it out. And of course, they get Quick Strike, lots of melee Double Strike. It's pretty much, you can almost keep this up 100% of the time for 25% free Double Strike. And then Sounding Staff right here at the bottom is like the bread and butter of this class. Because you get 3 ki every time you attack, and Glancing Blows generate ki as a monk, with this, you can basically have infinity ki and do whatever you want with it, which is kind of great. Works out really well, so it's a lot of fun. But unfortunately, Ki Bolt and Incinerating Wave are kind of not very good abilities. It's disappointing, but that's just them's the breaks, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get rid of this disease. I don't know why I had that still. But yeah, we're gonna play some video games. If you'd like to join me, I'm playing on Galanda, as you can see in the top left corner right up there. And we're gonna be doing some level 11 quests, because I haven't really played this character since last week when I played before. So we're gonna do that. Level 11 elites. This character is basically invincible, which is a lot of fun. I don't really care about traps. There are a couple of things you can do to actually kind of make your character a lot more defensive than you might otherwise think. So as a great example, this character, all my saves are extremely high, and my armor class is high because I run around in Ocean Stance. Gives me dodge chance, armor class, saves. It's just a good stance to be in. Reduces my strength a little bit, but that's fine. My character does a lot of damage anyway. I'm not really concerned about that. And that's about it. So right before I get started here, I'm just going to crack open a beer for myself. Beer. I'm deeply saddened. Normally I like to drink Tsingtao during my streams, but I can't because my roommate drank all my beer. So as a result, I'm drinking her beer. Of course, it's Kronenberg 1664, which is not a terrible beer, but it's not the beer that I wanted. So, yeah, what are you going to do? So yeah, so I've got all these ogres. This is on normal difficulty. So this is a normal difficulty area, right? I'm going to cast Incinerating Wave, and it knocked out one warg. So that's not bad. So it killed one warg, but it basically... Why are the health bars not showing up? Did that get turned off? I don't even know how you turn that off. Anyway, it basically knocked out one warg. That's not ideal. Boom. Negative levels. Look at all those negative... Wait, I drained negative levels from myself? What? Every like cast a shadow causes a negative level to me? No way. Hold on, I gotta test this. I gotta test this out. Wait. No way. Did that really just happen? Also, I gotta turn on health bars. Health? Show opponent overhead health. That's weird. I don't know why it's not showing their health bars. Hold the phone, hold the phone. It causes a negative level to me? Are you joking? Wow. At least now I have Touch of Despair I can use. That is just so depressing. Look, my negative levels. That's not supposed to be happening. That sucks. Oh man, that is the worst thing I've ever seen. That is just depressing as hell. Well, it's okay. We can fix this. Man, that just sucks. This ability is so good. If it didn't do that, god damn. What are you gonna do, man? What are you gonna do? Right, so I'm not going to drain negative levels from my party, That's a terrible idea, but my god, that is just not good. So we're going to quickly respec this tree. As boring and tedious as that sounds, I'm not going to use that ability if it doesn't work at all. So, quickly respec. We're going to take fire, one of these. Actually, yeah, we'll take, what is it, tortoise form or something? And that words, and this. And of course we want wisdom, because wisdom's really good, and this. And I have to take something else here, these 3 points, and we got to take wisdom. Yeah, take this. How many points do I have to spend? 3 more points? Okay, sounds good. I actually don't really want Mystic Training at all. I don't want this either. That's garbage. I don't really want Lighting the Candle because it reduces my key generated. You see, you reduce your key generation by 1 on hit, but it gains a bunch of extra damage that it scales with melee power. So this could actually be pretty good. But, we'll see. I don't really need an extra elemental attack. So I'll take this, and I guess this is fine. Alright, we're going to use Void Strike instead, because that's a bunch of garbage. Wow. Just drink a Death Ward pot. Yeah, if my character... Actually, I do have a Death Ward pot. Either way, it's not worth it. I'm thoroughly disappointed in myself for not knowing that that's how that was going to work. Huh. Alright, well that's fine. Alright, so instead we're just going to use Void Strike. Void Strike it's very similar, except it deals like 1,000,000 damage. So that's kind of good. So we'll try that instead. Oh yeah, don't worry. I got my core enhancement. I just wasn't looking too hard. Damn. That was like crazy disappointing. Oh well. But yeah, Void Strike's still going to hit really, really hard, especially single target damage, which is good. This character, because it's very, very easy to sustain itself, I don't really have to do too much to actually kind of stay alive here. My weapon, whenever I slam somebody with a critical hit, is going to be giving me temporary hit points, which is really good. So, what are you doing on the stream? We're playing video games. That's what we're going to do. I don't have anything special or particular lined up. Basically, I'm waiting for Reaper Mode to come out, because Reaper Mode is going to be amazing. For those of you that are unaware of what Reaper Mode is, you got to get yourself educated. But basically, there's going to be this cool, new, fantastic game mode that's going to be really hard, and it's going to make it, everyone's going to hate it because it's going to be really, really, really hard, which I think is amazing, because I love the idea of a super hard game mode. Wait, can I just easily do, what is it? Moment of Clarity? It's only 10 seconds, but it's +5 to attack rolls and skill checks. Yeah, it's too short duration. But I can really easily set up Moment of Clarity. My god. Hey, Ready to Snap, how you doing today? Traps. So yeah, like I said, what I'd like to do is something cool and special. Problematically, I haven't really been finding much of a time to also set up cool and special stuff. So I'm sure you guys know in the past I'd usually be like burning through some kind of special life, where I would go on some interesting detail or something. I just haven't really been doing that recently. Part of it is, like I said, because, I'm just really hyped for Reaper Mode. I already planned out the build that I want to use. The problem is, there's just a little bit of information that we're missing when it comes directly related to the new Reaper Mode. So for those of you that don't know, maybe you missed one of the many live streams that Turbine has done where they talked about it, and they like to detail and show off their new feature. Reaper Mode is going to be this awesome new difficulty that comes out that most people are going to hate. It's really hard. It's going to punish you. It's not going to be fun most of the time, and I'm so excited. As some of you might know, fun is for losers. People that play the game like, oh man, I get to play my cool warrior type character, and I got like a mage. No. I like to play games that, not for fun, but to win. It's like the same reason why like people, play any game on like a ranked difficulty setting. People play anything on a ranked setting so that way they can compare themselves against other people. They don't do it for fun. Maybe some people have like true fun when they're like, oh yeah, they're just like playing the game. Oh yeah, I just have a lot of fun. It just feels really good. But no, most sane people anyway, play anything with a ranking because, they like to show that they're better than other people. Just like me. So I'm very excited for Reaper Mode because it's going to provide an opportunity for people to come up with very interesting builds, creative ideas, show off their teamwork and their skills, and kind of really prove their mastery of the game, not only to themselves, but most importantly to other people. Making yourself look good is one of the most important aspects. So of anything. You know, it's the same reason why you've got those super crazy hard whenever there's like a new raid that comes out in like your World of Warcraft. All these big guilds are posting about it on Twitter and stuff, and they've got their videos, and it's big and exciting, and you get the nerd screams because it just feels good not only to beat this really hard thing, but also to be the first one and the best one at it. So I'm really excited to have something like that in DDO. Canon's Challenge and Evening Star Challenges, while they are fun, are in no way competitive. There's no leaderboard. There's no way to track that information. You can't try to beat your friends and to get a high score, because you can, but all you have to do is like literally remember what it is or take a screenshot. And it's 2016. There should be some kind of tracking system, and presumably, since Reaper Mode's going to be a big game feature, it's going to have, you know, something associated with its completion. If it has any type of reward system, that will be a feature where you can compare and contrast with your friends. So I'm really excited for Reaper Mode. It's going to be great. And mostly for me, it's going to essentially almost like revitalize the game. This quest that I'm doing right now, I'm barely even looking at the screen, and my character's just killing whatever. I don't really care. But when Reaper Mode comes out, this quest is going to be infinitely more complex. All of a sudden, there's going to be crazy monsters everywhere that you're going to have to deal with, a lot more damage, and you'll actually have to coordinate with other people, which sounds like a lot of fun to me. Dungeons & Dragons is about generally going, sitting around a table with your friends, having a couple beers, you know, rolling some dice, and then somebody gets mummy rot because they snorted mummy dust up their nose. That's the gist of like Dungeons & Dragons. So that experience, being able to bring that back to DDO, where you really got to get your friends and you got to probably have a couple beers and you go and you try to do some quests on the hardest difficulty. It sounds like it'll be a lot of fun. And I'm really excited. There are some aspects about it that I don't entirely know when it comes to Reaper difficulty. The biggest one that to me, it's like one of the few things that I think probably should get talked about, or at least mentioned before it comes out, which is not so much like, I guess, 'cause I don't want the system to be spoiled. I don't want Reaper Mode to come out and then it's like, oh well, we already know all the details, we already know how everything works. But at the same time, the one thing I did gather from the last beta, of course we're gonna have to wait till it comes out in the next Lamania patch, but from the Lamania patch where it was open, you gained no benefit from doing Reaper Mode if you did it above the maximum level of the quest. So or the level of the quest. So if you were doing a Harbor quest on Reaper Mode, that Harbor quest would count as level 4. If you tried to do that Reaper quest at level 5, you got no benefit whatsoever. It only worked if you were level 4. Now I think that's a really great idea. It stops people from being able to easily just do Reaper quests way over leveled, and it means you have to do them on level to get the benefit. It's a cool system that I really, really, really like. I didn't turn on power attack, but it's a great system, and I think it's just really fantastic. It kind of forces you to play with other people and to come up with ways to, you know, actually beat these quests legitimately. You know, and I think that's a really good thing. I think it's a great thing, but it does raise a couple questions. The first question that I have, especially regarding that, is, alright, if the game or the intention is to, you know, have a system where you want to be playing it and doing the quests as you level up, and you want to be doing Reaper Mode quests, maybe to get some kind of reward. Imagine that there's a reward system where, you know, like, if there was like a Reaper-based enhancement tree, and you had to do quests on Reaper to get experience to spend in this enhancement tree. I'm not saying that's what the system is. I'm saying if that's what the system was like, then if you started a character as an iconic, you are missing probably about 60 to 70% of the quests in the game, which means your iconic character will never be even remotely close to being able to do Reaper Mode at the end difficulty, because you're missing 60% of the power. If you could do a character with only 60% of the power, then Reaper Mode probably isn't going to be that tough, especially in the endgame. So, unless there's some way to compensate for that, unless that's not how the reward structure is, so that you don't actually need to have specifically done all the quests, that's going to be an interesting question. However, if it basically means you're locked out from using any kind of iconic character, it means anybody that's playing an iconic character kind of gets shafted, or if they want to use an iconic ability, again, they're kind of stuck. So that's something I would be very interested to see or hear about, but of course we do have to wait till the features come out. So it's kind of like stopping me from wanting to play my characters, because I have a character I want to TR into a Bladeforged Bard, and it's going to be totally awesome, but if I TR into a Bladeforged Bard and then I can't do Reaper Mode, then I'm going to be really disappointed because I have to start at level 15 to do it, and it's like, okay, well then that character just will never do Reaper Mode, and I'll probably won't actually make it at the point. So we'll have to see. Again, I don't know how the system works, but like I said, what I want is for something really cool. But yeah, so this is a Henshin Mystic build. No, Bob, this is It's my own homebrew creation. It's definitely not optimized. If you're curious about how to build a proper Henshin Mystic build, don't follow this one, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm basically just hitting stuff with a staff. It's a really easy character to create because you just put a stick in your hands and you start swinging it around and you do a lot of goddamn damage. That's basically how it works. I would talk about how like there's different ways you can do your damage and stuff like that, but in reality, I literally just equip a stick. No, I rolled a 1 on my spiderweb save. You literally just equip a stick and attack people. Like to be fair, there are some like, I wouldn't say intricacies, but you know, things to know about the character. But I'm extremely tanky. I'm self-healing because I just use healing key every once in a while. In fact, I don't even really need to use healing key that often. I've barely been using it this entire time I've been in this dungeon. There we go, boom. And it heals me for like 130 right now. And I don't even have a good devotion item, so. Every X amount, you get an enhancement point. Yeah, exactly. If that was the case, then if you started as an iconic and you were unable to just start Reaper mode right away, automatically iconic characters will be unable to do Reaper mode. Right? You automatically got locked out. So that's not a great feature, but it's important to know if you have intention to play an iconic. Imagine you have a build that requires using a purple dragon knight for a certain specific stat or skill set. Maybe you want to play as the deep gnome because you know you again like the specific skill set that you can that would be available. That's really important to know. But I understand it for the point of keeping it secret and keeping it fun. It's important to not divulge all the information so that the player base still has to do some digging and kind of learn about it. I really dislike that idea because of like having Reaper mode bleed into standard gameplay, because I don't want that. I want Reaper mode to be something separate. I don't want my character to do Reaper mode and then all of a sudden I don't ever want to play heroics because my character is just way too strong in all categories. Now this character is of course a little bit strong. I don't really know how to fix that. I just hit stuff and do a lot of damage. I don't know if there's a real way to like reduce the power of this character. Obviously I can just de-equip my items, but most of my items aren't even that good. Like I have a +4 wisdom item. I don't know. I don't even know what my chest piece is. My robe is fortification 51, like, and nothing else. I don't know. Yeah, gloves of double strike and spell lore. Like damage. So not truly optimized, but still a lot of fun. So yeah, it's just I wouldn't want Reaper mode to bleed into regular gameplay. I like the idea that Reaper mode is something completely separate for the players that want to participate in it, and that no one should ever feel obligated to actually do Reaper mode. Reaper mode should be completely supplementary to the standard gameplay, because people will be interested in it. Like one of my big reasons I'm so interested in Reaper mode, I actually got to play it when it was on Lemania. I played it with one of my friends. We went into Reaper mode. We went into the harbor. We had both level 4 characters, and I was playing a bard. He was playing a paladin, and we tried so hard to do quests on Reaper 10, and it was really difficult. It was really challenging, and even though there was no reward, we spent like 6 hours trying to do Bringing the Light and Haberdasher, like 6 hours. Okay, so. And that was with no benefit. There was really nothing. Turbine didn't say, like, there was no reward. There was nothing. It was just, you could just beat it. You could just play it. It was amazing. It was one of the most fun experiences I've ever had in DDO. It felt like it was an entirely new game. Every corner felt scary because you never know what was going to come around the corner. Are you going to have to deal with a Reaper? Is there going to be a certain way you have to handle a certain room? Okay, how are we going to maneuver the monsters in this room? I'm going to use my crowd control on this guy. You basically, you sit down outside the room, you look into it, you say, this is where the monsters are placed, this is what we're going to do, and then you go try to execute your plan. And to me, that just seems exciting. And not only that, I think it will be possible that multiple different character builds and different characters will be viable to beat these quests. Meaning that, if my team and I build a Reaper mode team and we're all playing together, and it's going to be a lot of fun, if we're all playing together, and all of a sudden, I'm playing as our team has like a bard, a cleric, a wizard, a fighter, a rogue, and, a sorcerer, and then somebody else is doing Reaper mode as well, and, they've got, an artificer, a monk, a druid, a favored soul, and a barbarian. Completely different parties, but yet both would still be capable of beating the difficulty. I think that would also be really fun. People could kind of compare and see which one's the best one. It would just be like an interesting way to do that. I didn't too much hate this guy, which makes me annoying. I'm going to talk about Reaper mode a lot because it's essentially the thing that I'm just most excited for in the game. So, yes, hand wraps makes you count as dual wielding. So, no, it took us 6 hours to do Bringing the Light. Yeah, Haberdasher was actually extremely easy. We did it on the first try. Because you can just, there's actually a bug where you can stand on the bookshelves and the scorpions will just stand there and you attack them and kill them. However, doing Bringing the Light was extremely difficult because no matter how many times we tried it, there was always at least 2 Reapers per attempt. The Reapers are, of course, very high damage, very high health. To put it in perspective, at level 4 on Reaper 10, they were hitting for about 250 damage, which is way more health than either of us had, because we were level 4. So, really dangerous monsters, man. Yeah, so Reaper mode's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. If you're not excited, that's not my problem. I'm going to enjoy the hell out of it, so... But like I said, if Reaper mode comes out and then you try it and you find it's not the type of game mode that you want to play, or you don't feel like you're having a lot of fun, then absolutely don't play it. It is a game mode designed for a specific type of player. You know, the player that just loves getting frustrated at video games. You know. Which I happen to be. I love just slamming my face against a challenge, so.
The hatchery.
Yeah, and you still died in 1 hit, or maybe was it 1 hit, or maybe even 2 hits? So now the other important thing is we were also not abusing any of the very common bugs that a lot of people knew about to beat some of these quests. So I just like the idea because it'll bring all sorts of abilities back, and this is something I'd actually like to talk about here. Reaper mode brings this incredible opportunity to actually bring back archetypes that used to exist in DDO but do not currently exist. You can play a tank-type character, but in general, most people don't need a tank-type character. If you're just starting out and you're playing with your friends and nobody's really played a lot of DDO, having somebody who wants to play a dedicated tank, just a fighter or a paladin to slap on a shield and attack stuff and stand in the front line, both of those things, like, that's an amazing character. Amazing, great archetype, and it will work. And it'll make the game significantly easier for you and your friends. Everyone's going to have a lot of fun. The guy who's playing like the tank-type character obviously wants to play the tank-type character, so they'll have a lot of fun. You know, it's going to be a great experience. But if you're a pretty experienced player, you're not very new, you know where a lot of the quest traps are and things like that, playing a tank-type character may not be that fun, considering you'll quickly realize if you're playing with a lot of random players, most people don't really need those types of characters in their party. Same thing with healers. A lot of people find themselves more being self-sufficient. Again, this is not that these things are bad. If you have a tank and a healer, any party can do any quest on Epic Elite. Whereas if you don't, not any party can do any quest on Epic Elite. So it's one of the more interesting aspects of the game, the ways you can kind of, use different character archetypes in different ways. The interesting thing about Reaper, though, is that Reaper's going to kind of force some of those archetypes back, You're going to need a tank. You cannot do those quests without a tank. No one can take 400 damage from a Reaper level 4. So you have to build a character that physically can. Or you'll need crowd control guys. Guys who can very, very effectively stop monsters from moving, stop monsters from attacking and killing your entire party. Self-healing is reduced by 65% or 66% on Reaper difficulty 10, which means that if you want to actually do effective and powerful healing, you needed to do it externally, which is great. This is going to make it so that, players are going to have some kind of healing in their party, whether it's a bard using sustaining song, whether it's a cleric who's constantly belting out heals using their turns to conserve mana, or a favorite soul who just happens to have enough mana they can just throw it out regardless. Druids with their heal over times will also be very effective, considering, again, it's still that external level of healing. So all of a sudden, healer's going to be brought back. And this brings us to an interesting crossroads. Many players, myself included, really want some kind of minor details in this game to get really finished off. Every character class in the game has at least 3 enhancement trees, except for favorite soul, druid, and artificer. But really, what would you add? What's a third druid tree? What's a third artificer tree? Hey, look, it's a bear. What are these trees actually going to be? What do you make of them? And it's really hard to make that decision because you think to yourself, oh, it could be this or it could be that. But the problem is, a lot of them may not feel that unique, and DDO as well is kind of difficult to design for, and I really sympathize with the developers because DDO basically lets you do whatever you want. If you want to play an archer who is a mechanic who also worships a god and is the divine sentinel of that god, you can play a paladin, artificer, ranger, right? You could just do that, and it's fine, and it's probably going to be a decent character, and that's kind of cool. So when it's like coming up with a new class or a new enhancement tree, what do? Well, Reaper mode kind of brings a cool opportunity. Those enhancement trees that no one would ever make, a healing tree or a tank tree, think of one of the least exciting enhancement trees in the game. Radiant Servant. It's all about healing. But no one cares about healing. Healing is pointless. Think about another great enhancement tree, like Sacred Defender or Stalwart Defender, from the Fighter and the Paladin respectively. Great enhancement trees, but why would you ever put all your points in them? You don't need to. You put some in to get some of the damage, but you don't really care, or not the damage, you put some in to get some of the tankiness, but you don't really care about maxing it out. It's not really important. Hey, welcome, I just stepped inside the quest. You don't really care about all those external things because it's not important enough. But having potentially the opportunity for, Turbine to add in a game mode where you need to have tanks and healers, suddenly Artificer could have a Warforged healing tree, and Favorite Soul could have like a tanking tree, and Druid could have a hybrid tank healing tree. And then all they have to do is have a little bit of low-hanging fruit, so people that don't want to do Reaper mode can still get some interesting enhancements out of it. And the people that want to do Reaper mode have this awesome tool that they didn't have before, that the people that make the game would have never even considered, because, who has any actual use for a tanking tree at this point in the game? So I like it. I think it's interesting, and I think it provides a new space for us to kind of consider how we want to make those characters. Again, and this is really important, I'm not saying that you need to have like these class trees. You need to have a tank tree in Favorite Soul or something like that. But what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to say is that it kind of presents this opportunity where you don't have to feel like you're like wasting your space if you did make something like that. So I think that'd be really interesting. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that would be an interesting idea? Do you guys have any ideas for like a third enhancement trees? I did give away the Strimwork before and try to come up with different classes, and we all had a lot of trouble because how do you come up with the new classes for this game that already has so many classes, so many enhancement trees, and you can multi-class them to make basically whatever you want? Now, Turbine already blew my way with the implementation of Warlock, and hopefully they'll keep doing that. But I'm just, kind of blows my mind, Hey, what's going on, Mike Man? How you doing today? Hey, welcome. I'm new to DDO, but I have to say the stream is higher quality than what I've seen on Twitch. Hey, thanks, man. This stream is really high quality because I'm basically beating my graphics card and my processor into submission. So I recently spent about $1,500 on some pieces for my new computer. My computer probably costs at this point about $2,500. It's really expensive. Now you might ask yourself, Strim Tom, why would you spend $2,500 to play DDO? The answer is shut up. I do whatever I want with my money. You can't tell me what to do. I'm an adult. I don't know. Why go on a vacation to the Bahamas when I can buy a really expensive computer? Now, you might say, Strimtom, with $2,500, you could probably go on like 2 or 3 vacations to the Bahamas, and yeah, I would agree with you. But is it really worth it to just like go somewhere, go to like some kind of nice, fancy, warm beach, and get drunk almost every day and have delicious food and have no cares in the world and sleep with many beautiful women? Okay, maybe I spent like my money in the wrong place, but that's not the point. The point is, I spent this money now. Oh, it's trapped. Yeah, man, thank you. I'm glad that my money was well spent. I tried to optimize this so there's as little screen tearing as possible. As well, everything in this game is currently set on absolute max graphics. Now, the one thing I will say is after setting everything on absolute max graphics, there are some interesting notes. I find that oftentimes my two-handed attacks will go missing. I don't know where they go. They just disappear for some reason. Now, granted, some of the things you might be looking at don't have the highest, maybe not the best graphics here. A lot of these quests are relatively old. The newer quests that you encounter more as you level up, those ones do have higher resolution textures, and better effects, whereas a lot of these games have some of the older textures that kind of came in the base package of the game. So we're leveling. We're gonna get there someday. Oh man, look at this guy. Necro creep. What a creep. I can just dodge the trap. Oh, okay, so Smite Tainted Creature definitely works here. Well, yeah. So, what's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing this week? I haven't talked to you guys in basically like a week. I know I haven't really been streaming DDO that much on my own personal channel. This week I did spend quite a bit of time streaming Path of Exile instead because, of course, well, not I did say of course, but the new expansion came out, so I was playing that quite a bit. But we're back to DDO today, and I'll be streaming more DDO as time goes on. I really want to get the chance to try out Reaper mode whenever it does come out. It's supposed to drop, I think it's either later in December or early next year, so that'll be pretty good. And so you'll be seeing more streams from me. Damn it, I keep getting confused and hitting the wrong button. Ugh, I'm trying to heal myself. That's all I'm trying to do. Noob question. But accuracy, deadly, and secret ones all stack with each other, i.e. should you have one of each? The answer is absolutely! They all stack with each other. So yes, you should. When you're asking which one is which, or which one is the absolute best one, that is a very easy question to answer. Accuracy is the most important one, because if you don't hit, you do significantly less damage. So accuracy should be your priority, because the more often you hit, the more damage you're going to be guaranteed to do. Then you add the next layer of complexity. What's better, Seeker or Deadly? Well, Deadly. Seeker adds additional damage on critical hits, whereas Deadly adds additional damage all the time, which also happens to get multiplied through your critical hits. So in order of priority, you want accuracy, then Seeker, or sorry, accuracy, then Deadly, then Seeker. Seeker is great, and if you can get it into your build, that's fantastic. There are a lot of great named items that give you a lot of Seeker. If you're a low level, if you happen to have the Slave Lords pack, you can get yourself a Executioner's Helm, which gives a high amount of Seeker. Or again, in the Epics, you can also pick up the Legendary Executioner's Helm from Legendary Slave Lords. So, haven't seen you in Discord either, Shrimp? Hiding? What? No, I'm not hiding. I'm not hiding from anybody. I have been on Discord. I'm on Discord right now. It even says I'm playing Dungeons & Dragons. Although for whatever reason it doesn't say I'm streaming, which is interesting. Which it really should. Streamer mode. I have streamer mode enabled. I don't know. It even says streamer mode enabled. But yeah. And maybe it's because it's not on my channel. I don't know. Yo man, Slave Lords is a fantastic quest if you haven't had the chance to play it. I really like it. It's fantastic, and I highly recommend if it's your first playthrough, don't try to Zerg through it. Either get a group of people that's like their first time maybe, so that way you get kind of like that new experience. And even if it's might be a little bit difficult, just turn the difficulty down. Do it your first time on normal, or do it your first time on you know, on hard instead of doing it on elite if you can't do it, because I'm telling you that quest is extremely good. Some of the detail, and a lot of the cool little effects. The traps are really interesting, or several of the traps are very interesting. So like, there are some aspects that are a little obnoxious, like the floor panels. Some of the floor panels are a little bit obnoxious. I enjoy them in the legendary setting because my main character is of course a ranger, and being a ranger, my dexterity is so high that I cannot effectively fail those traps, which means that what you can do is when you have your squishy allies like wizards or warlocks walking past those traps, you can repeatedly run over the pressure plates and kill them, which is really funny, because especially when they get really upset about it. It's one of my favorite pastimes. Slave trolling. But yeah, some of the traps just and the little attention to detail. It's really good. I highly recommend it. Yes, I will say that Slave Lords, when it first came out, I remember my first experience going through it. It was really hard to do. The first time I ever did Slave Lords, it was extremely difficult. The first time was on Legendary Elite, so I didn't try it on Heroic or like just try to see the traps. My entire first experience was on the hardest difficulty in the game, Legendary Elite, and I did it with two of my other friends, so we three-manned it. And it took us like 3 hours or so, but we three-manned it. And then after we three-manned it, it became very, very easy again. The problem is, it's not so much that Slave Lords is easy, it's that Slave Lords itself is relatively easy because it's just large packs of easy monsters. So if you think about, like, you know, what really makes DDO hard, complex mechanics, situations where you have to, you know, think outside the box to get around the monsters that are effectively immune to certain types of crowd control effects. If you look at the end fight of Slave Lords, where you have, like, all the bosses, where they have different interactions, one of the guys slows you, one of the guys applies vulnerability, one of the guys reduces your stats, one of the guys is sneaky and, like, one-shots your face. That's a very interesting fight because it forces you to think and kind of figure out what you're going to do, and you can't always just monster smash, you know, monster smash, monster smash. Whereas the majority of the dungeon is, here's a pack of 10 guys really tightly held together, so you can cast, you know, sound burst, get a good stun, then somebody goes energy burst, the entire pack is dead, let's move on to the next group. So, like I said, there's, you know, there's definitely different ways to think about it. Although I do agree some aspects of Slave Lords are pretty easy. Especially now. Slave Lords is not really very challenging. If you're ever interested and you're worried about your performance in a group, I highly recommend you just give it a shot and try joining an actual Slave Lords group. You'll probably have a lot of fun, especially if it's on Legendary Elite. Lots of people on different servers will run them nearly constantly. If you happen to play on Arganesson, there's basically almost always a Legendary Elite Slave Lords group just going, you know. Because Legendary Elite Slave Lords, of course, gives incredible equipment, but... Hey, what's going on, Mist? How are ya? Man, it's so dark in this dungeon. Look, I can't even see anything. It's super dark. So yeah. Yeah, Slave Lords is a lot of fun. I do like it. I'm more excited for Reaper Slave Lords. If you want me to shut up about Reaper mode, I'm not going to do that, so... You will not get what you want. You gotta have more realistic expectations of me, man. I'm here to bring you guys I don't even know what I'm here to bring. I'm here to play video games and then play video games. That's true. I love having a healer for the final fight in Slave Lords because I usually die because I'm bad at the game. So it works for me. Those things are not you know, exactly the same, but like dying and being bad at the game. I'm not saying if you die you're bad at the game. I'm saying I'm bad at the game and so I die a lot. I keep hitting the wrong key. I can't heal myself. I'm pretty sure Norals is a human, if I'm being totally honest. Also, I also tank Norals all day, but that's because I do it on my Ranger, who has way too much dodge and evasion and armor class. So I'm basically invincible, which I really enjoy. Yep, Mysticos literally never leaves the Legendary Elite Slave Lords. Ooh. Oh man, I'm getting murdered here. Like, I literally never leave Slave Lords, which I find kind of interesting. Yeah, that's what I said. Tanks and healers are not bad in any capacity. It's only that you can do quests without tanks and healers. So it's not that they aren't fun to play. They are. I find, personally, tanks are the most absolutely rewarding characters to play. Because they're fun, they reward you for thinking outside the box and how to build your character. Plus, you really get to feel like you're doing a lot because every time someone doesn't die because you intervened and took a monster, man, that's awesome. I know who Norals is. I'm telling you, Norals is not a halfling. All 5 Slave Lords are humans. Halflings aren't allowed to own slaves. But yeah, like, halflings aren't allowed to be Slave Lords. There's no halfling Slave Lords. That makes no sense. No, he isn't. He's not a halfling. You are completely incorrect. Norals is a human. I am 100% correct on this. And I know I'm right because I have 3 fully completed Slave Lords items. So I am definitely right. Norals is not a halfling. Don't you question me, man. You question what you don't know. You can't handle the truth. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god, what's happening? Hey, Frost Marrow Evoker. You can look it up, but I'm like 100% certain that Norals is not in fact a halfling. No, he's not. He's not a halfling. You might be playing like a Blade Forge, so your character's really tall, so you think he's a halfling, but he's not a halfling. Google it. Google Norals. I don't know what will come up if you Google Norals. Maybe you shouldn't do that. I don't know. I'm not gonna pretend to be you. You can Google whatever you want on the internet. I am not your parent and or guardian. But Norals is in fact a human. Come on, guys, back me up. I'm sure lots of you guys are wannabe slave lords. You've killed lots of slave lords in your time. I am so certain about this. I wager. Humanoid human. That's right. He is a human. Human! I did not mean to, like, blow your mind or ruin every single aspect of your life, but... Yeah! That's right! Validate me! Ha 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 ha! Fight these monsters. But yeah. So this character's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying the monk. I will say I'm kind of excited to see how it would perform in endgame, but at the same time, I don't think I'm actually going to take this character into endgame. Doing epic lives is kind of very tedious. I will say, as much as I like playing an epic character, I find actually doing epic levels super tedious because it's a lot of quest repetition. But if you're just hitting epics for the first time, it's amazing because you get all these different quests you get available to, and suddenly you can just quest with anybody, which is one of the best parts about being in epics. Of course, you don't also have to have mad quest repetition, but I'm pretty sure that if you did every single epic quest on Epic Elite, it would not bring you to max level. So it's difficult on that one. Key. And I have so much key. It's so dumb. Look at my key. I've got like 250 at all times, or 230 or whatever. Come at me, failed void mines. Yeah, like I will still use like Incendiary Wave every once in a while, especially if you have the spare key, because it's effectively just free damage. But the problem with it is, though, is like as I said, it does suddenly become like almost not even pointless to actually, or there's no point to even using it at one point. So you have to skip the chain epic quest in heroic. But I mean, with quest repetition, I mean, like, think about, like, the daily quests, right? Like, there's a reason why people do the daily quests, is because the XP per hour is just off the goddamn charts. If you got a potion going, doing an epic normal XP chain is going to take you about an hour and 10, hour and 20 minutes, or at least the one that I do, and it pulls in about 1.1 million XP. So you do 8 of those, and all of a sudden you're maxed out. And maxing out in 8 days is bad, like 8 hours. Problem is, you can't do it all in one day, unless you do, like, a, you know, normal hard elite, that sort of thing. And even then, you're still going to be missing a little bit. But it does require like a lot of repetition. Hey, look, it's champion. Wait, a champion? Can I like murder this guy? I don't know if he can get paralyzed. Well, he got tripped, so that's kind of cool. Combustive Scepter of Healing. Ooh. So my week in DDO has been like I said, relatively interesting. I do my raids on the regular, so I do them every single Sunday. I do some slave lords on the side. Still leveling up some characters, trying to prep for my pure bard build, my blade bard. But what are you guys doing in DDO? Anyone playing any interesting classes right now? Trying any weird hybrid builds, testing stuff? Trying to see if you can make kind of like the new OP. I'm always curious to see what other people are coming out with. especially since I've seen so many good monk hybrids, like different monk experiments. Anybody come up with anything good? Or anything? Anybody have any cool and exciting characters that they're playing right now? No, I missed one of the sockets? Shit. Oh no. I think I forgot to pick up a socket. No, or a crest. I gotta put this on party chat. Sork favorite soul paladin tank build. Oh. 12 ranger, 6 monk, 2 rogue dual wielders do mass sneak attack. Oh, so you hit dance with death and then you just destroy people with crazy sneak attack damage? Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that idea. Man, I gave the guy a moment of clarity to give him +5 to like all his saves or whatever, and he still got danced. Cedric with the longswords. That sounds really cool. I really thought about the idea of doing like a dual-wielding bastard sword monk, which would require like 5 levels of fighter, probably like 6 levels of fighter, then like 12 levels of monk or 14 levels of monk. You dual-wield bastard swords. I thought that'd be a really cool idea, but murder people. Cool. The next quest is going to be Dreams of Insanity. RD2, Ranger 6, Monk 12 for a ranged Trapper tune. That sounds interesting. Is like, I guess, is there a reason you're picking Artificer over Rogue? I mean, clearly you already have improved evasion from the 12 Monk, so that makes sense. But is there a reason why you're picking Artificer? Like, is it because you want the rune arm, or is it because you don't really want to use like an damn it, because you don't really want to use like an offhand, or like you're not too keen on having like one of those offhands that kind of affects your primary hand, like Celestia or something like that. I'm very curious. That sounds interesting. I really like people that mix in Artificer instead of Rogue, because you lose out on evasion, but you gain so many different things from slapping in Artificer. You can make your character a lot more interesting, or just give yourself a lot more options, because the rune arms are very powerful and can be easily crafted upon. So, I have an enhancement point. I kind of want to put it into Shin Tao here. So, we'll see. 12 Sork, 6 Warlock, 2 Favorite Soul, Fey, Air Savant, Cone Blaster. That sounds really interesting. Damn. Would you ever consider doing like Bard like that? Like a Sork, Warlock, Favorite Soul, like, but maybe like Bard instead of Sorcerer? Because Bard gets a lot of Sonic spell power as well, and Sonic crit. I mean, I think Sorcerer also gets a lot of Sonic crit though, so I'm not sure which one we get more. For 12, they probably get the same amount, but I'm not sure. Oh yeah, having a dog to pull levers. That makes sense. I did not think about that. Ancient Iron Defender. Get out of here, Ancient Iron Defenders. I have an adamantine weapon. Haha. Yeah. I got Thurgic Stave, an adamantine elemental bane, +4 weapon. It's actually not that bad.
Zoriat's influence has gripped this temple. Once
Level 12 Air Summon Mixture Sonic. Second vulnerability. Oh, does that work with like your little rune blasts? I didn't realize that worked with the blast. Like that actually carries through. I thought it would only affect like sorcerer spells. If it works with everything and not just sorcerer spells, that's totally awesome. That sounds like an amazing build. I have no idea what that person just said. Oh god. So, like, I don't know if you've seen it, but there's like a... I recently released a guide to play the Artificer class. It's a melee Artificer guide if you're so interested. If you're basically like me and you really hate the sound of the tick, 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 tick from playing a crossbow, and it makes you want to permanently deafen yourself so you cannot hear anything ever again, sacrificing the joy of being able to hear things like, you know, your newborn child say his first words and things like that, to be able to never hear those crossbow bolt sounds does seem very appealing after you've played enough of crossbow builds. However, to escape that, I decided to play an Artificer that would be a melee, so it would have like a different level of fun. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. Oh man, that person's microphone is terrible. And I really enjoyed it, and so I wanted to share that with the world. Right after I wrote that guide, I actually read through the Artificer forums, and there's a build guide on there called the Electric Critzilla, and that build guide is so interesting because of the way the math works. Oh man, the damage is crazy. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you check it out. It might just be the Artificer for you. Of course, it's not really an Artificer, it's mostly like a Sorcerer guide, but you still play with the Artificer. It's really interesting. Keep the rune arm for the great stuns? What do you mean rune arm for the great stuns? Is there a rune arm that stuns that I don't know about? I don't know why I can't see health bars right now. That's really weird. I'm gonna die here, maybe? Heal? Nah, we're good. I do like that I actually heal the Skeleton Knight here. If there's a rune arm that actually stuns targets, it's really interesting. But no, if the rune arms that I recommend the most are things like Shrunati's Hand Canning, which will effectively do all your leveling for you. It's a really strong rune arm because it double dips on damage. It does both physical and fire damage in equal quantities. So unlike most abilities where it'll be like, oh, it's physical and fire, so it'll do like a set amount of damage and then split physical and fire. Shrunati's Hand Cannon doesn't do that. It does physical damage and fire damage. So if it does 10d6s, it does 10d6 physical and 10d6 fire. Really highly overtuned weapon. If you happen to have one, it's going to make your leveling experience like easy as pie or cake or I don't know, something very easy. What's easy? Cake's pretty easy. I don't know. How do you screw up cake? So I'm gonna go with cake. I'm gonna say cake here in this situation. Yeah. Hey guys, want to see something cool? One of the reasons I like Monk is because I get this ability called Dismissing Strike, where I can just slam people and watch them disappear. So we're gonna do that. So I go open this door, walk over here. Hey, look, a beholder. He walked away. That's a bug. That was a bug. Holy crap. That's not supposed to happen like that. No. Die. Oh, well, that guy's dead. Can I raise dead? I don't know if I can. I don't think I can, actually. Whoa! Whoa. Hey, yowza, dude. This guy hits really hard. Whoa, okay. That was painful. Holy crap. Me missing the beholder was really bad. The problem is the beholder was moving at the same time, and my player's not really good at hitting people in their hitbox because you have to be like at least okay, and I'm not very good. So. I don't have the ability to res at the moment, but I can bring you to a shrine if that's cool. To make full screen DDO borderless? What do you mean borderless? Like full screen borderless? Like full screen windowed? Is that what you're talking about? That's because that's what I'm using. A cakewalk. Interesting way to say that. Whoa, my god, these things are hitting so hard. What the hell, man? I'm getting really unlucky with the champs here. Oh my god! I gotta go. Later, everybody. What is this crap? Holy crap. No! I was doing my cast! I didn't think I was gonna get hit! What? Oh, my God. Well, like... we have to reset. I've seen the border around the game but can move from one monitor to the other? Maybe. Yeah, so apparently I'm really bad at this game. Alright, well... we'll reset. Damn. I felt so good. I was like reading chat and... oh, no! I'm in Korthos Island. I was reading chat, not paying attention. God damn. Really, what I should have done is been dismissing those guys. I just wasn't using Dismissing Strike quite as often as I really should have been. I wasn't as vigilant with my Dismissing Strike. I dismissed Dismissing Strike. And I think it was too effective. I know. I know. I know. At least it was a fast recall, which I haven't been doing all night, which nobody has commented on, which is good. I gotta stop looking down. Let's look up. Look up at the world to come. Let's just go back to the ship. Get my ship back and come back. Oh man, it's okay to die sometimes, guys. Sometimes you gotta die and reset your quest because you're bad at the game. Or because you're not paying attention. Or because you're attacking the wrong thing. I'm not gonna lay blame on anybody. You know, sometimes we all just make mistakes, you know what I'm saying? Quickly just running down the bottom of the ship. Because I died, it's very important for me to repair my stuff. Staffs break easily. While I do recommend Henshin Mystic, I think that the biggest problem with this character is that all my weapons break extremely easily. They break so easily that if you don't do an adamantine ritual on your staffs, you're basically going to have no fun because you have to repair after every quest. It's kind of silly and tedious. No other class in the game has to do that. I don't know why they relegate it to staff using characters. Like, it should be more so like, you know, every character has to do a fairly similar amount of repairing, or no character has to do repairing. I don't really think in epics it makes that big of a deal. Like if you have an epic elemental bloom, it's a much harder staff, so you don't have to worry about it quite as often. But it is still something that's going to come up every once in a while. I don't have enough key. Oh crap, I forgot I can't just dash around in town all the time. I thought this had no cost, like abundant steps, so just abundant stepping everywhere. Alright, let's try that again. So. Oh man, like I said, everybody dies at some point. It's just one of the things that happens. Hell, if I was actually streaming something like Slave Lords or something, man. Oops. I was going to be more vigilant with my Dismissing Strike. I spent a lot of time talking to the camera instead of actually paying attention to the game. It's like just one of those eternal struggles. I'm like, man, you know what I want to do? Yeah. I wanna talk to you guys. I wanna be interactive, but then I also wanna succeed and be really good at the game. It's one of the reasons why I'm worried that if I did start streaming Reaper mode a lot, it would be interesting to watch, but it wouldn't make a very good stream. I feel like it would make a better YouTube video. Reaper mode's really interesting, but it's hard to make commentary on something where you really have to focus and you're playing with your team. You know what I mean? Blasts don't count as spells. Okay, that's what I was curious, because I know that it's really weird. Eldritch Blast sort of counts as a spell. I say sort of. So Eldritch Blast counts as a spell when it's used as from a spell-like ability. So if it's affected by a meta magic feat, it counts as a spell. So what that means is that certain abilities, like Dismissing Strike. Certain abilities, like Stricken and Consume, are spells. Eldritch Blast or Eldritch Burst and Spirit Blast are also spells, and they're affected at spells as such, which means they get affected by meta magic feats, and anything that affects spells also affects those things, which is great. However, your base auto attacks, unfortunately, are not spells and cannot proc spell procking effects, which is interesting and weird. I don't know if that's intentional, but it's the case, so... Okay, so there's a guy here. Dismissing strike. Goodbye. So as long as I kill the Thrackhounds first, I think it's good. Make a bursting build? Yeah, that would probably still work. Although, in reality, you could make a bursting build. I'd recommend Eldritch Cone if you're going to do that. Eldritch Cone will apply 3 stacks of three stacks, as opposed to Eldritch Burst and Spirit Blast would just be 1 each. So I'd recommend going with Eldritch Wave, I think is what it's called, not Eldritch Cone, which is what I said. Later. There we go. Now that I'm actually paying to the individual smaller monsters, it's a lot easier. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's a really good idea. Like I said, I'm still kind of set on this character becoming a brawler after this, a unarmed barbarian who uses just hand wraps. I just want to see if it'll actually work. It seems like a fun idea. I just don't know if it's a good idea. Clearly, it's not going to be as good as just a regular barbarian, but because of the fact that you can actually get multiplying and scaling hand wraps, it could be very interesting. It would require a lot of micro, though, so I'm not sure if I want to do that or like maybe some other kind of more interesting build. The problem is I don't really have any big or interesting builds in my mind at the moment. There are a lot of really good ones synergizing different types of abilities, like you guys are talking about. I just don't have any kind of like percolating in my mind at the moment. Admittedly, that is like the consequence of just like playing a lot of other video games recently. Take this, you bastards. Cool. Alright, so I have my dismissing strike, so I should be able to go ahead and just vaporize this beholder. So let's go do that. I don't know what happened. Does it have death ward? No, it doesn't have death ward. Didn't want to get vaporized in one hit. Maybe it made it save? I have no idea. It just didn't die. Yeah. I have a question for you guys. Imagine that there's no such thing, just for a moment, let's imagine that there's no such thing as development time. Okay? You could add anything to the game regardless of how long it would take to make or what it would be. If you could add one thing to the game, I'm curious, what would you add? Or if addition is not what you want, but like a change, so if you wanted to change the way a mechanic worked or something, what would that be? If there was no limit on development time or cost. Because I'm very curious as to what some people kind of think about what, if they could add one thing, what would it be? You know, some people have very varied opinions, while some people want like maybe specific class changes, they want a class to work a certain way, they want something to be better, for example, say like better animal forms or something, or more animal forms, or, you know, the spell group from Player's Handbook 2. There are a lot of spells from Player's Handbook 2 that are in the game. Well, not a lot of spells. I'm pretty sure Nyax Cold Ray is from Player's Handbook 2. Although, if I'm being totally honest, I'm not entirely sure. I'm like pretty sure, but I'm not entirely sure. More role-playing quests, not hack and slash. Yeah, I really like that idea. I was kind of really excited for Memoirs of an Illusory Larcener. Memoirs of an Illusory Larcener was one of like the greatest quests in my mind, because it was this cool choose your own adventure quest where it came out, it was free to play, and you basically get to choose your own adventure and things like that. The problem is there wasn't enough story, the quest wasn't big or grandiose enough, and there was absolutely no choice in the quest. The story was kind of lackluster, and the whole thing just felt like rushed and unpolished, and it's not going to go back, like the polish is not going to, you know, be there later. It's just that's the way the quest is, and it's going to stay like that. Which is kind of disappointing because it shows really tremendous potential in how you can make a quest in DDO, and how you can make something that would be very interesting. All of a sudden, making player decision affect how you play the quest, you know, especially if you have the option to save or kill somebody, somebody might just choose to save or kill somebody based on what they would like to do, regardless of what the actual outcome is. You know, even if there's no loot incentive, you might say, okay, every time I do this, I just save the guy because it feels better instead of like killing another guy. My UI could really use a clock. I agree with you. An in-game clock would be absolutely fantastic. But the problem is the developers of this game are too smart. They realize that if they put an in-game clock, you'd understand how much time that you lose on the regular by playing this game. Not so much lose, but don't have anymore that you've given to DDO. So, Book of Vile Darkness. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what the Book of Vile Darkness is. I could Google that, but I'm not going to. Well, I could Google that. I probably will. Just want to be a simple man and run around as a bear and attack properly. A simple man with simple wants. I do like the idea of like kind of cleaning up animal forms in their attack animations. That would be that would be a huge step in the right direction. A transfer all back button from collectible bag to storage. Yeah, if you could instantaneously empty out your collectible bags, I think that would be very good. Unless you mean like add it to the crafting storage. You can already do that. You just drag and drop it over top. If you have a collectible bag, who the heck is attacking me? If you have a collectible bag, you can just drag it over your crafting storage and it empties everything into the crafting storage. Beholder. Okay, goodbye. Yeah, there we go. That's what I wanted. And Johnny the Beholder. Those are all really good ideas. I like it a lot. A clock is definitely an interesting concept. I feel like, for me, it's not that big of a deal. I have a second monitor just on my right next to me, which has a clock on it, so it doesn't really matter to me that much. But back in the day, man, having a clock in-game... I remember when Lord of the Rings Online first came out, and the fact that there was like a little sun that told you what time of day it was in-game. You could then put your mouse over it, and it would tell you what time of day it was in real life. And you'd be like, oh shit, you have a clock in-game, so you can always pay attention to what time it is. Mail more than one item at a time. Oh my god, yes. Could you imagine if you could mail more than one item at a time? That would be amazing. What a feature. Revolutionary. It's going to change the world overnight. Mailing like 2 items at a time. That's why I like a lot of newer games. They do have multiple item mailing systems, and it's a really good thing. Look at games like World of Warcraft or Elder Scrolls. Both of those games, you can mail like, I think it's like 6 or 7 items at a time. Which is just a great feature, because it makes it easier for doing like over-the-mail trade. But as well, it just makes it more convenient for you as the player, because you can mail your own characters more than one item if you don't have access to a shared bank or something. Or if you want to send something to like a buddy, you have to send like 6 different mails and just do it all in one. That would be a pretty good one. Build into the game visible into rewards, whether on character titles or on fountains or statuary. Do you mean that's really hard to read. Do you mean like add features where you kind of like show off characters like in game? So like maybe say Reaper mode made a thing where like if you beat it, you would get like a statue of your character somewhere in game. That'd be an interesting concept. Imagine if the Hall of Heroes, when you went inside of it, you know how they have like statues and stuff of all the different major characters? You got your Warforged guy, and you got your Sun Elf guy, and stuff like that. Could you imagine if the characters that were actually there in the Hall of Heroes were whoever got the highest amount of Reaper score or something in the last week? So they completed the most quests, got the most points, so then their character gets to be like there for a week. They just rip the model straight and put them in the same position. That would be really cool. Could you imagine? A component and scroll storage bag. Scroll storage would be hard to do because you'd have to, like, how would you hotbar that shit? So that I can see not becoming a thing. But man, could you imagine spell component storage? Oh god, that would save me 9 spell slots or 9 item slots on my casters. In reality, I would love to see just separate tabs. So imagine you had like something like here, you'd have an extra tab that would just be spell components, and it would just automatically take all your spell components in there. I think that would be a good way to do it. Yep, get stuck in this grease. The graphics overhaul? I'm just gonna make the graphics like Grand Theft Auto 5. Absolutely. I totally agree with like a graphics overhaul. One of the things that I really like about getting my fancy dancy new graphics card and updating my computer. So look at this, everything's on max settings. Like, I'm streaming at like a slow encoding rate, and I'm still at, you know, hovering above 60 frames per second basically all the time. You know, that to me that's fantastic. But the game has in many areas pretty low fidelity textures. And what I'd love to say is that it's only exclusively in the beginning of the game, because a lot of them are, especially if you look at areas like these walls and the textures in these walls and the detailing in these walls is much better than the walls in like the quests in the harbor. They look really good. They've got like intricate design. I really like the detail of a lot of this stuff. However, there are still some areas where they could get cleaned up. If you look at the new armors, the celestial armors that come out of the raids Tempest Spine and Hound of Zoriat, they're really good armor sets, and they look really cool unless you look at them too closely. Then some of the details missing. They do get a little pixely at times. You know, they could really use a higher resolution drawing of them. You know, or higher resolution textures for sure. So if there was a texture overhaul where they kind of redid a lot of the textures in the game, or at the very least, an overhaul of the characters' faces, I love the way gnomes look. Gnomes are so interesting. They have like a lot of detail in their faces. They have great different smiles, noses, all sorts of stuff like that. But man, humans, dwarves, elves, don't even get me started on how just fugly half-elves are. God damn. Save me 9 slots with the shoe materials. Yeah, you and your shoe materials. I'm not going to use that spell. That's a terrible idea. You have to spend a feat to save 9 bag slots. I mean, to some people that's worth it, but not to me. I need my feats for damage. I don't have time for issue materials. Hall of Heroes with your character's name on it. Yeah, the problem is, again, if it's not something that's immediately visible, somebody has to go and look for it. So if it's not like kind of like, I wouldn't say in your face, but if it's not just like present, like if you have to like be aware that this thing exists somewhere in the world. Whoa! Roll the one on my finger of death. Holy crap. Okay. And I got Cyclonic Blasted upon its respawn. Let's get back up again. And I'm dead to Cyclonic Blast, even though I made my save. And we're dead. Cool. Get back up again. Fortunately, there's a shrine in this room, so I don't really care. Man, I died a lot. Because I have so much death penalty, the screen is really shaking. There we go. I'm back. Goddamn. There's a lot of deaths. I had no way to do anything about that. That was like impossible. I was just instantaneously dead. If I hadn't rolled a 1 on that finger of death, none of that would have happened. No death block? No, man. I told you, my items are garbage. I got like will bracers, I don't know, dex 6 ring of acid lower. Actually, these boots are pretty good. They're speed 6 of feather falling, but most of my items are garbage. I just don't have a death block item. I usually use flasks of death ward, like because I have the eternal flask, but it doesn't really work in this quest because beholders. So, huh? Did I not pick up the crest? I did not. Yes, half elves. Yeah. That's why, I don't know if you've heard, but some of the people at the company Turbine have announced some of their plans for some of the future expansions to the game, or not expansions, but patches. Dragonborn is a thing that's going to be coming to the game, everybody, and it's going to be really cool looking. But with Dragonborn coming to the game, I was really worried. When there was originally the poll where you could talk about, hey, would you like to have a Dragonborn or would you like to have a Kobold? My first thought was, yeah, give me a Kobold, please. Because Kobolds, while they may not be the most exciting race in the game, they are different. They're small, and they'd have a totally unique animation. Now, this is something we kind of take for granted, because now we have two races that use, or many races that use identical animations. Elves have different animations from humans, which have different animations from dwarfs, halflings. All the original races have separate animations, the way they carry their weapons, the way they run, the way they look when they attack. They all have different animations. However, drow elves and elves have the same animation. It's kind of lame. And then you got, what else is there? It's understandable. They're very similar. They're effectively just like dark-skinned elves. So yeah, sure, they have the same animations. But then when you start looking a little bit deeper into it, you find that Purple Dragon Knights and Half-Orcs literally have the same attack animations. Now, if you imagine you're going to add a Dragonborn into the game, and you just happen to have a frame that you could just slap this character onto, wouldn't you do that? And the frame that I'm talking about is, of course, the Purple Dragon Knight Half-Orc frame. Wow, I rolled a 1 on Disintegrate! Holy shit! I'm so bad! What? Am I just supposed to roll 1s all day? Is that how this works? Oh my god, are you kidding? Oh my god. I don't have like a thing to resurrect me either. That is so lame. This game sucks. Oh my god. Why? Alright. Well, this is when you can pay to win. Oh my god, it costs 35 Astral Shards? I really don't want to spend that many Astral Shards. I just don't want to repeat this quest again. I can't make it. I can't make it. Maybe, actually, maybe I can. Hold on, hold on. Maybe I can. Hold up. Yeah, I don't think you can make it to the shrine. I don't think I can make it to the shrine from here. God damn. Man, that really sucks. Well, I mean, I had a 5% chance to die, so... Technically, there's 2 abilities that could have killed me, so I had 2 5% chances to die. I had a 5% chance to die to Disintegrate, and a 5% chance to die to... So, like, basically, I had, like, an 8% chance to die in that fight. So... sometimes you just low roll it. I don't know. Yeah, I think we just have to restart again. I don't really want to, but... There's like nothing we can do. This kind of sucks. Oh well, like I said, sometimes that happens. You just low roll it. I should have brought a hireling and left it at the entrance. It's something I should do more commonly when I do quests, but I just don't. Hey, if someone's bored. But yeah. Because there's a resurrection shrine right there. I just can't reach it. No. If you can tell, now I'm getting visibly frustrated. No. I can click it. It's so close. I'm not buying a cake. It costs turbine points. I don't have a lot of turbine points. Oh my god. No, give me a second. I got it. Oh my god. I'm gonna buy a fucking cake. This is so bullshit. Fine. Okay, guess what? Did you know that if you end up dying to an 8% chance death, you can actually still win the game? Guess what? If you hit Control S on your keyboard, guess what happens? You load up the DDO store. You type in pay to win right here, okay? You type in pay to win, okay? And when you type in pay to win, okay, you type it in, okay? You see how you typed it in? All of a sudden it brings up all these pay to win items. I click pay to win. I buy pay to win. Now I've paid. Now I can win. I come over here into this corner. Now that I'm in this corner over here, I'm going to quickly click pay to win. I'm back alive. I've paid. I won. And now we're going to continue to win by killing this boss. There's 2 beholders here. I'm still going to... The worst part is I know I'm just about to low roll it and die again, but whatever. Quickly kill this guy. Did not die to that ability. Oh god, the Rackhounds. Not dead. Hound go. And we're dead. Or we're alive. I'm gonna go res this guy real quick, because I'm about to die. Hey, I got tensors. Nah, it's good. We're fine. I paid to win. And that is my biggest reason why I don't want... I really like the fact that you can use store-bought items if you do run into that situation, where it's like, oh man, you just died from a bad chance you don't really want to restart the quest because I'm lazy. I'd much rather just like spend the turbine points and just not have to do it. 200 turbine points is effectively like less than $2 at the rate that I got the turbine points at. So for me, it's not worth my time to do this quest for another half an hour. So, yeah. So, I don't like dying. Anyways, it's all good now. Oh no, come back. Put me back multiple levels? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Crazy. I played back in the beta stages too, and I'm telling you one thing. You never went back multiple levels. You lost some experience, but you never went back a level. Unless you're talking about like pen and paper D&D, where when you died, you lost your levels. You also lost Constitution. Ah! Cyclonic Blast and Beholders. What the hell? Oh my god. Oh my god, they're all looking at me. This is terrible. And they have one more portal to get to. I got this, okay. No, gimme. Oh, got it. Okay, I don't care. Got him. Okay. Oh, that's a champion. I know I was like shit-talking these monsters and being like, yeah, I'm like so good, I don't even care what the monsters even do. We're gonna circle around the Thrackhound so we can't hit us with a Cyclonic Blast. Okay, we're good. Whew, we got it. Good work, everybody. That's me, just keep drinking your beer. Oh yeah. Well, one of my favorite things about old Dungeons & Dragons Online was the blindness effect. So Turbine had to invent a level of technology for their game to have blindness work. Generally, when you get blinded in other games, it's a status effect that makes your character miss. But in DDO, they were like, yeah, we could do that, or we could literally disable input on your screen so you couldn't see anything. And I'm sure the developers, when they first made this, thought this was an absolutely hilarious idea. Like, what? You disable the input? Like, your character's actually blind. It's not your character that's blind. You are blind. You have blindness. You cannot see. One, this allows them to do really interesting effects. Because they can disable certain aspects of the game from actually showing up on your UI, or not on your UI, but on your screen, it means they can make dungeons that are completely in black. Just like, God, what's that? Whoa. Nope. Where's this lady? Just like the quest Mirror, it's not Mirror, Rainbow in the Dark. Rainbow in the Dark is one of the cool quests where they turn off stuff. Now, blindness back in the day, like now you get blinded, you drink a potion, or you get blinded, it's like whatever. But when blindness first came out, the game first came out, dude, you got blinded? Blind lasted through quests. You would leave quests and enter quests. It was permanent when you got blinded. It didn't have time on it. It was just forever. You had to wander through town and hope somebody had removed blindness and could take it off of you. They didn't even have, like, the guys in the tavern who could take it off of you yet, man. My God. Because you can't do anything when you're blind. Hey, Strim, do you have your Ranger 2 Weapon Fighter build anywhere? No, but I do have a free-to-play Ranger guide called Strim Tom's Acid Arrow. Oh, hey, by the way, the next quest we're going to do is called From Beyond the Grave. Okay, no worries, man. You've good time. It's good playing with you. Alright, we're going to do End the Dead Shall Rise because I can't do From Beyond the Grave because I only have one person, but... But unfortunately, I don't actually have my Ranger build written out. There's a couple of reasons. The Ranger build that I have on the forums is an absolutely free-to-play build that requires no special items. The Ranger build that I have in-game doesn't really require... It benefits very heavily from being more of an endgame build. Leveling is basically really easy, just leveling at all your dexterity. If you want to know how to play my Ranger, effectively, just have as much dexterity as you can. It is a dexterity build. If you want more damage, I'd recommend being a human and going strength-based. Although if you're not really concerned about your maximum damage potential, then go with an elf. By playing as an elf, it gives you access to the Dragon Mark of Shadow. Take Dragon Mark of Shadow, put points in the elf enhancement tree to unlock the greater Dragon Mark of Shadow so you get displacement at all times, and then max your dexterity, whip out some scimitars, and go to town on people. Basically it. Displacement is kind of the bread and butter of that character because having displacement gives you 50% chance to dodge all attacks. So my elf in total, Elf Ranger, has about 100 armor class, was it 15% incorporeality, 50% concealment, and then a 30% dodge rate, which gets boosted up to 60% dodge rate when I use, I can't remember what it's called, Unbelievable Parry, Uncanny Parry, Unrelenting Parry? I can't remember the name of the ability. But, yeah. So it's a pretty good and interesting character build. I really like it. However, if you want to do more damage with a character like that, I'd recommend playing as a human. By playing as a human, one, it gives you an extra feat, and as well, you can effectively just go strength-based, use the extra feat on taking Kopesh, and then go strength-based to deal more damage. A strength-based Kopesh build is going to deal more damage than a Scimitar build will 8 days of the week. You could also do Dwarven Axe if you want instead, but I recommend going Kopesh. This is going to give you the most bang for your buck, especially the fact that you can expand both critical threat range and critical multiplier by playing as a ranger. Plus, it means you can do 30 in Deepwood Stalker, meaning you can get the like the Mark of the Hunted or whatever, which is really, really strong for single target damage because it dumps fortification and reduces armor class, as well as giving you more fortification penetration in general. Fortification penetration, of course, being really, really good. So yeah. So that's effectively how you play that character build. If any of those words were confusing and blew your fucking mind because you're like, hey, I'm just like playing this game for the first time and I'm new and I'm still learning stuff, then there's a guide that was just linked by Dakeil, which is Strimtom's Acid Hero build. It's one of the greatest build guides ever written by anybody, the name Strimtom, and it's really fun. It's free to play. You don't know how to have to play the game. You don't have to buy any special quest packs. A lot of times you read a build guide and be like, this build is really good if you have like every item in the game, or this build's really good at level 30. The build guide that I wrote, Strimtom's Acid Hero, is good at effectively all levels. You can use it. It's a great leveling guide. It's good when you hit level 30. It's not fully optimized. There definitely is some room to kind of max it out. And if you are looking for an optimized level 30 archer guild, I do recommend, or archer build that's pure ranger, I do recommend the White Feather Sniper build. See Through the Ego wrote that, and he did a really good job of kind of laying out what you need to do to give yourself max damage and stuff like that. So I would recommend that. Your sword clock does in fact have to go burst. Yeah, man. It's very easy to test actually if you just make a purple dragon knight, purple dragon. So. Was nasty, but you guy would play by looking at the guy's screen beside you. Yeah. Elaborate parry, that's the one. Yeah, human with Kopesh is going to be the best way to do it. Pure Barb, single weapon fighter with Dwarven Axes. I hit ×9 crit. I just did, but went Blade Forged. Yeah, man, Blade Forged are pretty cool. Unless you're playing a Blade Forged Barbarian. Then I find that a questionable decision. Oh, howdy. We're inside and the dead shall rise. I said we, but it's just me. There's no we. I don't know why I can't see health bars. I have no idea. Does anybody know why that's doing that? Because I literally have the checkbox turned on. I don't know if I hit a button on my keyboard. Almost everything I have is rebound. Like, I guess maybe it's H or something, or G? Auto-targeting? I don't know. And the most interesting thing about playing as an archer is that if you want to get the most damage, you're still better off because ranger gets strength to damage. You're still better off going strength base as an archer. You lose some of that 2-hit chance, but that's fine because strength is going to give you more damage than dexterity overall, just because it's easier to get your strength higher than it is to get your dexterity. Which sounds stupid. I mean, it kind of is, but them's the breaks, kids. V doesn't work. V is keybound to key shout for me. Key Shout, which I find to be a very, very interesting ability. I really like Key Shout because it's effectively like an Intimidate that scales off of your concentration, which is really cool. The problem is it's old school Intimidate. So the cooldown is 15, or not 15 seconds, but the cooldown is 15 seconds, which is really weird. So it's way too long. It's way longer than it's supposed to be. And more than that, it also uses the old Intimidate effect. So if you didn't know, Turbine actually recoded Intimidate entirely. Now, it applies its aggro instantaneously. So if you use Intimidate on a target, it will automatically readjust the target's threat list, which is interesting. So the way the AI works right now, if you walk into a room and you have the lowest health, and you're standing next to your friend who has higher health than you, the monsters will have a predisposition to attack you, which means that even if your friend attacks those monsters, they're not going to immediately attack your friend. They want to attack you. As a result, there's a little bit of a delay before a monster will actually switch targets, especially based on damage. What this means is you'll have situations where you'll be like, man, I can't get this monster off of you, even though you're wailing on it, and you will do 100% of its health and damage, and it will not change targets. I'm pretty sure this was an intentional programming quirk when the game first came out, in an attempt to make the monsters more simulate how monsters would act in an actual pen and paper game. Monsters wouldn't just immediately react and attack the person who attacked them last. Monsters would probably have a tendency to have a predisposition towards attacking a certain member of the party. Did I share that quest? And did I share that quest? Yeah. So what this means is that it creates a situation where you have, like, I wouldn't say like a not intuitive. Ooh, hey, look at that. It's gonna blow me off. I wouldn't say it's like not intuitive, but it's just an interesting way that aggro mechanic works. However, the new Intimidate now automatically reapplies all threat applied to a monster. So, if you hit it a bunch of times and then use the Intimidate skill, even if your Intimidate skill, like as long as you succeed on the Intimidate, it'll automatically readjust, and if you happen to be at the top of the threat meter, it's going to start attacking you right away. On top of just that, when you Intimidate, for every point of Intimidate you actually succeed with, so say you Intimidate a guy and you get a 40, that 40 points of Intimidate is going to apply 40 times 200 in artificial damage that the monster thinks it's taken. So 40 times 200 is 8,000 damage? Why? What's up? Yeah, Delirious Man. Yeah, so it's a really interesting way that they did the Intimidate mechanic as well. It also has a cooldown time of about 6 seconds. It makes it a lot more accessible, and it means that if you want to play as a tank, you can quickly reevaluate and reassess threat, which is great, because it means you can constantly keep on top of different monsters. More monsters are being added to the fight, or large piles. You have to continually kind of change your game plan. That's cool, and that's all great, because you can do that with your character class. However, that is in no capacity how Key Shout works. Key Shout works as the old Intimidate, which means you can use Key Shout and it won't make a monster want to attack you. You can use Key Shout and it's not going to automatically put you at the top of the threat list. You can use Key Shout and it's not going to just allow you to hold over other targets. And you can use Key Shout, it's not going to, so it doesn't immediately update the list. And finally, it has a 15-second cooldown. Key Shout, for whatever reason, never got the Intimidate update treatment, so it handles very poorly. It's unfortunate, but them's the breaks, kids, which I think I've said more than once already. So if you're looking to try Key Shout and you're wondering why it doesn't seem to work as good as it could, that's why. There is reasons for that. Because it doesn't work. I'll wait till you get in to finish it. Hey, while I'm waiting for this guy to get in, I've got an awesome treat for you. Now, one of the most interesting things about being a VIP like I am myself, you can open up quests on Elite difficulty right away, which is just good on its own, especially if you decide to make a new character on a new server and want to level yourself up quickly. But also, you get daily dice, a fancy-dancy weekly VIP gold roll. So, yeah, you could roll your silver. When you roll your silver, you're going to land yourself at 12 and get 100 XP. Oh, man, that kind of sucks. Better luck tomorrow. But wait, why not just roll your gold VIP roll, get a 5, but get 1,000 XP? 10 times the benefit. It only costs you $15 a month. So give it a shot. Make sure you register. Take your credit card or your Visa. I don't know. This is my phone. It's not really a Visa. Anyway, just shove it in the computer. I don't know how it works. Take your Visa. Like, okay, here's money, right? So this is money, right? So you take this money. See this money? You take this money. You put it, you fold it, you put it in the computer. They're one of the drives. I don't know which one. Anyway, you shove it really, really hard. I think you have to like put it in like your optical drive. Anyway, you send it to Turbine through the computer, and when they get the money, man, he's a champion too. This is gonna be terrible. Champion, and he's bludgeoning resistant. This is horrible. Oh god. Okay. I'm having a lot of trouble right here. Okay. Oh, I'm focusing. Oh, God. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah, we got him. Screw you, champion. I'm dead. There's no shrines, but I got him. I got him. I have to release out. Yeah, it's fine. Oh, God. But anyway, I highly recommend you go ahead and you do that. Oh, Walk of Shame again. The next one will be From Beyond the Grave, which is right next to it. But yeah. Bam, take your money, give it to Turbine, and then you become a VIP. I highly recommend becoming a VIP if you really are enjoying the game. What you can do is you can just buy individual quest packs, okay? Individual quest packs are great because they allow you to experience individual portions of the game, especially if you have like an allowance and you only get like $5 a month. But if you are the kind of person where you play video games for entertainment on the regular and you really want to try something out, if you're starting to enjoy DDO and you've dipped your feet in, for your first month, just spend the $15 or whatever and try VIP. It gives you access to all the quest content, almost all the classes. There are still some classes that you have to unlock, but you unlock those classes by doing quests. So it's fun. You're like, cool, I want to play an artificer? Cool, I gotta go to House Cannith and do the artificer story quest line and do the story so I can unlock the class. Cool. That's awesome, you know? So by becoming a VIP, it gives you a chance to experience a large variety of quests. You get to see different aspects of the game. As well, like I said, you're not really restricted. Think about it like this. If you get a subscription, not saying that you shouldn't buy quest packs are great, but if you get a subscription, okay, a subscription to Dungeons & Dragons Online, it's great because you only spend, what, like $15 a month? I buy coffee like every day during the week. That's like $15. It's actually probably a little bit more than $15. So I could just save on that coffee or make a coffee myself. What? I don't have a death block item for me at all. There's no death block item here. What are you talking about? A death block item? I can't take it. I don't have a death block item. You are incorrect, sir or madam. That's just not what that is. I should send in my computer. Shoved it in your computer and it came out the back fan all chopped up. See, the problem is, I think when you have a situation like that, I think that's just the way that you sent it. Remember, you're supposed to shove it in the computer so that way it goes through the Ethernet cable and goes to Turbine. I really think you need to try again with another $20 bill. So, I don't have a death block item though. But yeah, if you're just started playing it and you're considering like giving really giving it a shot, I do recommend just giving the one subscribe once a month. Like I said, it's like $15. You really get to feel if you like it or not. If you don't like it, you still got to experience a lot of the cool content. If you do like it, you just realize you found a game that will absorb pretty much your entire life for the next 6 months. So it's a pretty cool thing. Cool. So if you can just defend the gate and kill every single thing that tries to get the gate, that'd be great. Okay, trick with this quest. Check it out. So, this quest is you're supposed to go ahead and destroy all of these things. You're supposed to light all the funeral pyres. There's a super duper secret that I'm teaching you guys a secret. These boxes, these graves, have skeletons that spawn, but the skeletons will only spawn if you step in the sand. If I don't touch this sand here, if I don't touch this area, this edge, if I do this, where there's this physical line where I'm somehow lighting it outside here, I don't know how you light it from this far away. But if you do that, it doesn't aggro anything. And nothing respawns. If you have somebody who runs up and just jumps on top of it, it spawns stuff which then attacks you, and then it takes you significantly longer. By doing this, it's not going to spawn anything, which is pretty great. So highly recommend doing that strategy. Hey, skeleton. Murder! Hey, what's up, skeleton? Murder! Got him. And we do it again. Yeah. You bastard! Come here. Come here. You want to get murdered? Yeah, you want to get murdered. Actually, I can't really murder these undead because, you know, they're undead. They can't really be murdered. Like, what if they already got murdered, you know? It just doesn't work. I just realized you guys can't hear my music. What quest is this? Hey, what's up? We are inside from beyond the grave. And we fly over. Fly away! Bam. E. Now, it does take a long time to actually light these funeral pyres, which is, you know, a little time consuming. But that's okay. Time consuming is... I mean, it's supposed to be hard because you're supposed to have, like, a dude defend you because you're getting, like, attacked by undeads or whatever. That just doesn't happen here, though. Because they don't spawn for me, so... Excuse me. That's hilarious. I think, to be fair, though, I don't think really anybody understands even remotely how hirelings work. But that's awesome, dude. That's a great story. Boom! Keybolt. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Oh, God. No, stop. Ah. Alright, so these ones are going to keep respawning. What's the plan here? This might work. I don't know if I'm going to have enough time. Uh-oh. I don't have no way to, like, stun monsters for a long enough time. I think it's like 30 seconds or so that you actually have to sit here and do this. So I have no way to actually stun monsters for a long enough time. I'm hoping I can actually get this before the skeleton respawns, like the knight, which I cannot. Miss. Damn it! I said miss. He's supposed to miss. Okay, try this again. I just basically, if the skeleton knight can miss on 2 attacks in a row, which is a lot to ask. It's a lot to ask. It really shouldn't be, considering I have like 62 armor class and 65% dodge chance, or 30 or 20% dodge chance. The guy really should miss on the regular, but gotta be patient. Oh no, he made stuff spawn! Dude, no! Oh, but he's lower health than me, so he takes aggro. Game mechanics. That's what I'm talking about. Aggro mechanics for the win. He has lower health than me, so he just takes over on aggro. Now we're going to use Key Shout so I can take aggro off of him. That's why Key Shout's still really good. Like, it's just useful because you can hold aggro and stuff. Man, look at all these marks of the keeper and whatever. Hey, get deaded, skeletons. Cool. Next. Oh, Guard Jabari? Where the hell is that guy? Oh, there he is. Cool. Next quest is gonna be Desert Caravan in House P or in the desert. You can go to either one. I don't really care. But yeah. I'm actually not as tired as I thought I was going to be. I thought I was going to be a lot more tired and have like no energy, but apparently I had like some kind of second wind or something. I've been up since 5 in the morning. It's now 8:48 and I'm just like, yeah, let's go. Yeah, energy. So, had a really long day. This entire week's going to be full of long days. Yeah. I have a question. I actually don't know this. I've been hearing conflicting things. So I'm curious. I'm just gonna quickly check the chat list, and it looks like Nobob is still in chat. So Nobob, he who works at Turbine, has Turbine at all announced when the next update is gonna be? I missed, unfortunately, the last weekly Wednesday live stream and the last Fridays at 5, so I don't know, and I couldn't find it on the forums. I'm just curious if there's like an ETA for like the next update or anything like that. If you just happen to know offhand, I don't know, or if something was announced. If nothing was announced, I thought I heard somebody say that something was announced, and I don't know. Monster drink for the win. Yeah, I could drink lots of Monster. Drink a couple, but I just don't feel like doing that right now. I've had a lot of coffee today. I was going to say, if you can't tell, you probably can't tell. I've had like 5 cups of coffee today. 5 cups of coffee? I had 2 for breakfast, and then I had a cup of coffee around like 11 o'clock. Actually, it was more like 12 o'clock because I wanted to get lunch, but there was some jerk in my office, and I couldn't go into my office because he was in my office and he had all my stuff, so I had to skip lunch. So I was like, well, I guess I'll just drink coffee instead. Early January? Cool. And then I went to, or then afterwards, I sent one of my guys to run a delivery because I had an unhappy customer who needed something to get something delivered same day, and I didn't know. It was complicated, so I sent one of my guys out, and then he came back with coffee. So I had 2 more coffees. So that was like 5 coffees. 5 cups of coffee. 5 very large, extra giant containers of coffee. Coffee. I mean, yeah, I probably could have had more, but...
A wave of Valkurim rushes into the canyon. It's an
killed Doomstalker? That was fast. I'll let these guys cover it. Just gotta cover both sides. There's gonna be an endless amount of monsters that spawns in this dungeon. Man, they already dispelled my greater hero? That's lame. Look at that, it's garbage. Yeah, I'm a big coffee drinker, big time. It helps me get through my day. More importantly than just helping me get through my day, it's just tasty. I just genuinely like coffee. I think in most cases I don't need coffee to function. Like, I really don't. I don't need to have a coffee in the morning. I'm not like one of those people who's like, oh, don't talk to me till I have my coffee. Like, I don't even really notice when I don't have a cup of coffee. But, oh, that's, okay, cool. So it's, because I know I heard something about Reaper mode. I wasn't sure if it was like a Lamania thing or if Reaper mode was actually going to be coming out sooner than I thought. But either way, both things are super cool. Trust me, the hype is there. So there you go, guys. Get ready. Lamania Reaper mode. That will help me test a couple things. Because I have a couple ideas. I want to know if they work. Effectively, the only thing I want to know about Reaper mode is if you get completely 100% shafted from playing a iconic character. Because that will affect my build. If you can play an iconic character somehow, then I'll do it. If you can't, then it's like, oh, well, you can't play an iconic. You're just not going to do it. It just doesn't work. Stupid dogs. Garbage. I'm so good at the game. Loves me some coffee, dark French roast. French roast. So, I've got like a Keurig, and I got this like vanilla biscotti coffee, and it's really tasty. So I decided, because I have this vanilla biscotti coffee, I was like, okay, you know, vanilla biscotti coffee, super good. Let's like make it even better. And so I decided to get or add to my coffee. I added like hot chocolate mix. So I made like a vanilla biscotti mocha. Oh, so good. That is like how you wake up. And then after you add in the hot chocolate mix, instead of like using like milk or cream or something, Bailey's. That's how you wake up in the morning. That's how I do my Sundays. Bailey's. Gotta do some watercolors. This one's just Bailey's. Coffee the nectar of the gods. Now, like I said, I don't need coffee to function. I just enjoy it. I find coffee it's nice to have a warm drink, especially on like a cold winter day. If you're like me and you're a Canadian and you woke up this morning or you went to bed last night really late, I went to bed around 1 a.m. And when I went to bed, there was no snow. There was no snow whatsoever. It was dry, bone dry ground. And I woke up in the morning, a mere 4 hours later, lo and behold, the world was covered with a blanket of white. Those are the types of mornings where you're like, I just want to have like a warm cup of coffee. It was one of like my favorite parts about like just being, or when I was in university, was just waking up in the morning, making myself like a coffee, like a travel mug, getting on the bus that I was going to sit on for the next hour, which would take me to school, and then on the bus I would just sit there and just like sip away at my coffee, and it just felt really good to have like a warm drink and you're just sitting quietly and, you know, kind of mentally preparing for the day. Hey, look, hyenas. Take that, hyenas. You know, well, coffee's pretty good. I find I drink a lot of coffee during my workday because I find just having a coffee just helps me focus. You know, like having just like some kind of warm drink, or I just find having a drink in general helps me focus. And I usually drink coffee instead of water. Probably a bad thing, but show us dat Void Strike. This one, yeah, absolutely. So Void Strike does 10d6 force damage that scales with melee power. So my melee power currently is about 44. So it's 10d6 plus 44%. The average is going to be a little bit, I think it's like 36 is the average here. So with the average being 36, if I attack a monster, I should do 36 plus, so about 50 damage with Void Strike. So there's a monster, I hit it with Void Strike, we did about 44 force damage. Try again, we do about 43 force damage. We'll try again, doing about 40 force damage. Interesting how consistent that is. Hey look, it's Thornpaw, a hyena that's about to get murdered by my bare hands. 4k XP plus a sea breeze. That caravan? Yeah, but I don't really care. I'm just gonna stand over here. I'm fighting hyenas, okay? Look, Matrix, Dismal, they're killing stuff. I gotta fight this. Now, this is one of the things I find very interesting about this caravan. What is in this caravan that it's so worth it for these guys to, like, attack so vigorously, okay? Think about it like this. We have literally killed 112 guys. 112 guys! That's a lot of hyenas. That's a lot of Skoro. That's so many drow. Is it really worth it to kill, like, to throw this many soldiers at these caravans? What's in these caravans is with 112? That number's just going to go up, right? And I'm not even saying, like, oh, yeah, we shouldn't be killing them because it's wrong. No, I don't think it's wrong at all. We're defending the goddamn caravan. But to me, it's like, is it really worth it? Like, holy smokes, guys. Like, are these caravans made of gold? Is that what's worth it? Or even better, like plats, because gold doesn't really have a lot of value currently in the regular state of the game. Or are they made of astral shards, and they're like, oh, we want astral shards? Does this caravan just have, like, you know, mountains and mountains of free experience, like elixirs or autos boxes? And they're like, we gotta get those autos boxes. I don't know. I just don't know what could be potentially in there that's worth 150 monsters at this point. It just seems like too many. Hey, yowza dudes. I got like a rem chest over here on the north side after we're done. The Reaper code is hidden in there? Oh, Reaper mode. Is it the Dragonborn race is hidden in there? Like, man, we want to play as Dragonborn. So you gotta beat that first. Ooh, any other quests I haven't done yet? Tomb of the Blighted? No, I'm not gonna do that. Cool. So this is the last level 11 quest. I'm gonna move on to level 12. Fortunately, I am not able to take my next level, so we'll have to wait on that, but... The Reaper code. That sounds like it's something from like a movie. The Reaper code. Like, what's that? There's that new like Da Vinci Code movie that's like just came out, or it's like coming out, where it's like about like a dude who like discovers some like virus. It's like a program. I don't know. I saw a trailer and it looked confusing when I went to see what movie was that? Arrival. I saw the trailer for that movie. Man, Arrival is a really good movie. I highly recommend it. I don't know if it's still in theaters anymore. Probably isn't, but man, that was a good movie. Like 6 out of 10. I mean, 8, 9 out of 10. It's a good movie. At least I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I had no interest in it because I got very confused. I was like, huh? And there's like Tom Hanks, and he's like, something happens, and then there's like a red flood. I don't know. Although I will say, I did recently just watch I saw a trailer on YouTube for the Assassin's Creed movie. That looks like a cool movie. I'm not a big fan of the games, but the movie seems like it could be pretty cool. Just from the trailers, it looks pretty cool. Which means it's probably gonna bomb. It's gonna be like Prince of Persia level, like level garbage. So, we'll see. I'm generally not a big fan of all them video game movies because usually they're pretty awful. They have a habit of being pretty awful anyway. So, I mean, I enjoyed the Warcraft movie though. I thought that was a pretty good movie, if I'm being honest. Like, if you at all enjoyed the Lord of the Rings movie, you'd like the Warcraft movie. They're basically the same movie, except just the characters are funnier in the Warcraft movie. So it's basically the same thing. Why does Scorro have seizures on the ground after they die? It's because they didn't eat their vegetables. That's why. They didn't eat their vegetables. So if you don't eat your vegetables, that's what's going to happen to you. So eat your vegetables, kids. Good work. Chests. That's all the level 11 quests for me. So I'm going to start working on the next set of quests, which will be the level 12 quests, which will be the 2 ones out here, Chamber of Rayum, so Tomb of the Wizard King, and then also the Chains of Flame. Yeah. Like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed the Warcraft movie. I just thought it was like a fun movie. I will say that if you have never seen, and if you don't know anything about Warcraft, I recommend you just read the plot synopsis for Warcraft 1 on Wikipedia, and then go watch the movie. You'll enjoy it so much more. Like, you don't need to know everything about the characters, but man, when people just keep using like different names and crap, and you're like, who is this? I don't understand what's going on. Wait, what's that building? Where are they going? What are they flying on? What are they doing? And you're like confused all the time. Just read the plot synopsis for Warcraft 1 and then go watch that movie, and you'll enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. I thought the special effects looked great in that movie. Man, the way they made the magic look, it was so cool. I was always a big fan of the arcane style of magic in that game, in series of games. Desert. Gonna eat your veggies? Good, man. I'm glad I can inspire you to eat vegetables. I don't eat vegetables because vegetables are totally for losers. But you should eat your vegetables. Minek Terran. So, Chains of Flame, Chamber of Rayum. Okay, I want Wisdom for sure. So I think we're going to take Wisdom here. And this. I kind of want to take Conditioning because it's Concentration, Fortitude saves, and HP. HP is, of course, really good, and Concentration is also very good, so we'll see. Whee! If you have to take level 14, feel free to take level 14. Chamber of Rayum. Cool, man. Strim, if you don't eat your veggies, you'll end up like the Scorro. No. If you don't eat your veggies, you seize after you die. It's not that you'll end up being like a Scorro. Scorro just eat a lot of meat, and they eat a lot of scorpions. You have to live on exclusively a scorpion diet. You eat nothing but scorpions, scorpion meat specifically. You do this for about 15 years straight. Nothing but scorpion meat. You also don't, like, drink water. You only drink scorpions. So you eat and drink nothing but scorpions. For breakfast, you have a bowl of scorpions, no milk. You know, and after about 15 years, you will look like a Scoro. You'll grow the legs, that sort of thing. So, like you can be a Scoro if you want. It's just a bad idea. You gotta eat a lot of scorpions. Like the volume of scorpions that you have to eat is almost comical. Nah, no milk. How? It's like, oh, I'm tough. How tough are ya? I ate a bowl of scorpions without any milk. Will I be able to dispel buffs from my enemies non-stop? No, it costs mana. NPCs are the only ones that get the ability. So if you want to become an NPC, basically you have to have like a computer AI control your actions. But if you do that, then yeah, you can get infinite buffs there.
For the Wizard King awaits.
If you don't feel comfortable soloing a tower, you do not have to. Cool, man. Just stick with me. We're gonna have a great adventure. Oh my god, what hit you? Oh my god, what hit me? Here, come here, my son.
Welcome, traveler. You will learn to call this place home as I have.
And if I eat scorpions for breakfast for nonstop for 15 years. You know, it's not just breakfast, dude. That's lunch, that's dinner, that's dessert. Scorpion ice cream. Give it a shot, man. You can do it. Like I said, it's a complicated diet. It's like if you want to become a skeleton, the thing is you just have to understand the concept that you are not, in fact, who you think you are. So what you think you are is that you think you're like a human being, you know, and the human being you got like all your systems. But what a lot of people don't know is that the skeleton is actually an independent creature. You form like a symbiotic relationship. So while you yourself are like a person, you actually have like a living being inside of you called the skeleton. It's its own independent thing that gives you shape. So you heat the skeleton, and in return it gives you shape for your muscles. It's a very complex relationship that you and the skeleton have. I don't know where I was going with that. I just like saying weird stuff. I kind of wish I could cast a shield spell. Oh, I have spell resistance. I forgot about that. Yeah, monks. Oh, is there a chest? Oh, cool. Didn't realize like I was like a champ. Wow. Oop. Feed scorpions for breakfast non-stop. Yeah, man. But yeah. This character's a lot of fun, and it's going to get more fun as they continue to level up. The cool thing about monks is because they are pretty versatile, you can have your stats spread in very interesting ways. And the fact that you get bonus armor class from wisdom, dexterity, or wisdom and dexterity, and you get bonus armor class from being a monk, and you get bonus armor class from like your earth stance if you're in it, you can basically get an extremely high armor class. You get a lot of physical resistance rating. You know, you get a lot of dodge chance. Monks are actually pretty defensive now. If you were ever hesitant to play a monk because you felt like it was too hard, there's too much you had to know or too much you had to try to do, I highly recommend you give monk a chance right now, because monk is in a really, really good place. It's fun to play. I'm not going to say like it's easy, but it is really fun to play. It's really engaging. They kind of really focused on the core mechanics of monks, which is basically having an action bar that is too complicated. And Turbine did a pretty good job of keeping the spirit of that in check. The action bar is, of course, really busy, as I'm sure you can tell. I'm a level 13 character, and I have 4 action bars full, mostly of like just enhancements and abilities. Now, of course, you don't have to use every single ability. No, in that little room that you're in, there should be levers on the wall that will open a door for you. Let me come find help. Yeah, See? You're playing DDO. The game is now endlessly confusing. Welcome. Oh god. Oh god. Too many mummies. Mummy's alive, man. Oh, Mummy's Alive. That's a great cartoon. I haven't watched that cartoon in years. My phone. Uh-oh. Yeah. Yeah, so there are certainly some quests that this character is going to have trouble with. Because my physical resistance rating, while it is good, it's still relatively low. Although I don't really have, like, a sheltering item. You know, I think I have, like, a sheltering 11 or sheltering 8. So I don't really have a good sheltering item on this character. Yeah, so I'll pick one up later. I'm not really that defensive. My big worry is when I hit the slightly higher levels where you start hitting quests where the monsters are really strong, more specifically quests that contain Abishai and things like that. I'm going to try to kind of sustain myself on the sole fact that, you know, I have improved evasion, so I won't be taking a lot of damage from the AoE delayed blast fireballs. As well, I'll be able to sustain myself on just like, you know, oh, I climbed. I lost my combos. Damn, I forgot about that. There's another thing. The combos need to be made more accessible. This is one thing I do like about Monk and one thing I don't. I do not like the fact that doing anything that's fun breaks combo on a Monk. Oh, I gotta climb something. Breaks combo. Gotta open a door. Breaks combo. Gotta use a potion. Breaks combo. I accidentally slipped off a wall. Breaks combo. I sneezed. Breaks combo. Ugh. I just want combos, man. So I love it if I would really like it if there was a trackable combo bar. That's why if DDO ever added anything, if they just added the Warden class from Lord of the Rings Online, I know they could do it. It's made by the same company, so they should just do it and add that to the game. I don't know how that would work, but they should just do it anyway, regardless of whether it's a good idea or not. I think. Ah! Knocked down. Oh, my back hurts. Oh. Oh my god, he makes all the saves. Evasion. What an annoying ability. Hey, as long as you're soloing it, that's awesome, man. Give me that treasure chest. Something good. Ooh, we got Ram. Later, jerk. Cool. So, now that this tower's done, would you be willing to stay here while I go do Tower 3 so we get the full XP? Yeah, just wait there at that phylactery. And I can go super duper fast. This is where having 204 key is really great because I get abundant step, a super short cooldown. Ruh-roh, I'm coming. I'm coming. I love that. I love just like the fact that the screen goes all blurry and you fly around. Is chat quiet or is it broken for me? No, chat's quiet. Trust me, it's hard on my focus and my mind. I need you guys. It's one of the most interesting things about actually doing like live streaming is I don't know, I wouldn't say become dependent, but you start to notice like certain habits. So like for example, it's really easy to run and sustain a live stream when you have something to talk about. That's why I can understand why like fletchling streamers have a lot of difficulty actually getting their streams off the ground, because if you really want to prioritize chat interaction, which is one of the coolest aspects about live streaming, like if you make a YouTube video, that YouTube video is a thing that exists that you can always look back on and use as a reference, but there's no real interaction. Sure, you can reply to comments and things, but at some point the comments on YouTube videos become like just a void, just shouting into the void. Where is he? Oh, he's over there. Cool. So grinding coin lord rep. You and your grinding. I really should have like raid scrolls here. But I can totally understand how people that like want to start streaming but don't really know how to go about it can have a lot of difficulty actually getting it off the ground, because if you don't have like an active chat, you pretty much just have to sit there being entertaining all the time, which can be really difficult if you're like either not sure what to talk about, maybe you don't have a style yet, maybe, you know, you are pretty knowledgeable on a subject, like a specific game, but you really don't know how to show that off because you don't know what to talk about, right? I could tell you guys about all sorts of different intricate aspects of the game that you may not even have any idea how it works or anything like that, but if I don't know where to direct that focus, I could tell you a bunch of facts that you potentially already know, or that you don't find very interesting, or that may not even help you in the long run, especially in your experience with the game, which is not what I want to do. Ideally, I'd want to give you like lasting information that you really want, or just something funny, or a cool experience, you know. So yeah. Oh God, why did I look at the ground? Later, jerks. I talked to that guy, but I gotta use my healing key before I talk to him. That. Rehab the Afridi. Can I just dismiss this guy? I don't know if that works. No, it doesn't work. He's immune. He's a red name. I didn't notice. But yeah, man. Like I said, sometimes it really just depends. That's why it's good when you have like, you know, just a dude who just likes to talk real fast. Festival coins. Apparently there's a bug where you don't get festival coins when you're doing Slave Lords. That's really bad because Slave Lords has a ton of chests in it, and it's basically all I ever do on my main character. So it means I can't get festival coins on my main character, which is kind of disappointing. It's like not ideal because festival coins are pretty cool. Oh, you can't go back? Damn it.
The stone floor cracks.
But it's fun right now. Made a monk intelligence base attack with Harper? I will tell you one thing. I've been really tempted to try to do that. Oh, monks, they fall so slow. I've been really tempted to try that. I think that'll be really interesting. So, okay. Yeah, man. I unfortunately can't watch Twitch streams while I'm at work. My job is just absolutely terrible.
Wizard King's treasure chamber through this doorway.
But yeah. Oh, it does? Okay. Well, I'm already running away. But yeah, I've really wanted to try an intelligence-based monk. The problem with making an intelligence-based monk is the main fact that monk abilities scale off of wisdom, and intelligence doesn't give you bonus armor class. So if you were to do that, make an intelligence-based monk like a gnome monk or something, obviously gnome monk is really, really powerful. Well, I would say obvious. Gnome monk has a lot of great advantages that you may not see right away. I guess that's the opposite of obvious, when you don't see the advantages of something immediately. What's the word for that? Anyway, Gnome monk is really great because it gives you access to a very high amount of UMD. If you happen to take the Dragon Mark feat, which, considering you're a monk, you have a lot of extra feats just lying around. By taking the Dragon Mark feat, it allows you to cast the shield spell, which is unbelievably useful. You can pull in easily about 8 points of UMD for 6 points of investment, and the blur spell-like ability, or not spell-like ability, the blur effect you can have as a permanent effect on your character. Heading to Tower 3. So, like, I really feel like that's, you know, for, I think it's 8 points investment, you pick up 8 use magic device, the shield spell, permanent blur, and like a bunch of dodge chance. So all of a sudden, it makes a lot of sense. And considering you don't need strength anymore to play a monk, like this character doesn't really use strength. My most important stat is going to be dex. Later, when I have more enhancement points, I'll be taking these 2 ninja training things to get dexterity and hit and damage. This character, in reality, should be a pure dex-based character. I just have to respec my enhancements a little bit and my base abilities. Something that I would have done in the past. I just didn't realize how good it would be. Still trying to figure out how to do your build? What was your build again, Spicy? That was the, not the Dwarven build. Which build? Which build? Which build? Oh, the Sorcerer Warlock build. Yeah, okay. Yeah. If you took... I don't know what the other two levels would be. That's a really tough choice, man. I totally forgot that it actually affects your sonic damage, too. You could take... I mean, if you really wanted to, you could take Bard and then use the spell-like ability, although I don't know if that actually affects your spells in quite the right way. I don't know. Yeah. Dex hit damage is one of the best things that they did for Monk. It just makes it so that you don't really need to be strength-based anymore. If you still have an old strength-based Monk, of course it's going to work, but by being just purely Dex-based now, you're going to have more armor class, more reflex saves, more damage, because it's easier to get Dex from your Monk enhancement trees. So you basically just get more to all your stats. So being a Dex-based Monk is pretty much going to be better in almost every single sense, which is great. It's also a little bit more intuitive. You think of monks as being like these kind of dudes that do like ninja shit, and ninjas like have lots of dexterity and stuff. They're not just like these big, strong brutes, which is what people used to build their monks. I do remember playing a pen and paper monk, a half-orc, who punched people to death with his fist. It was great. Ow! Well, they're all dead. That was easy. So. Give the heal. I need to get more healing. What is my devotion spell power? 138. It's not bad. It's not good, but it's not bad. What I would like, if possible, is to get my healing spell power even higher. I'm just not entirely sure how. I don't really have a very good item. I don't have very many cores from the Shintao tree. Get some more. Wait, didn't I pick up another core of the Shintao tree? Yeah, I did. I did pick up another core. And I'll soon get another one. Give an extra +1 armor class and saving throws. It's 1 point wonder, man. 1 point for +1 to all saves? Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, if you could do that the whole way, you'd play +80 to all your saves, so... It's okay, you get bonus chance to hit when you roll ones. Body block. I need the body block. Or that works. Yeah, healing amp items are good. I don't have any healing amp items. My healing amp is 80. Because I'm a monk. Each core of the Shintao tree gives 10. I've got 3 paladin past lives, gives you an extra 30, and the ship buffs give you 20. For a total of 80 without items, which is kind of cool. I remember I saw somebody who had like a healing amp monk. Oh! 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 Help! Got him. Bam, we did it.
The way forward is forbidden, mortal. You may not pass.
Let's murder this guy. So to cast this place. Oh, there's a ranged guy behind us. Oh no. Oh god. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of this stat damage. I don't like the fact that I have a bunch of stat damage. Healing. Yeah, I could go for a healing amp item right about now, though. Like when I hit 20, I would probably just slap on the ones that give 60 or whatever, the Purple Dragon Knight gauntlets. Just give you 60 right away. They're really good. Just a lot of healing amps, easy to get for level 20s. It only costs like 5 combinations or whatever, so highly recommend it. Later. Cool, good job. So feel free to take that phylactery. Bam! Look at all that XP. 28,000 or whatever. Plus all the different optionals we got. This is like a 40,000 XP quest, so it's pretty good. 17 Strim's Esther build. I actually know how to play this game now. Strim, do you have anything similar as an easiness to play that traps? No. I don't. Well, I have a character that's much more complex that also does traps, if that's what you're wondering. I do have an Artificer build. It requires the Artificer class, which is a little bit more complex. And on top of requiring the Artificer class, it also requires... hey, Hand of the Tombs, look at that. As on top of requiring the Artificer class, Chains of Flame is next. On top of requiring the Artificer class, it's a melee build and requires you to have good understanding of your own ability to hit a lot of keys at the same time. So what does that mean? Where's Chains of Flame? Chains of Flame. Should get rid of this mummy rot. So what I mean by your understanding to hit a lot of keys at the same time, artificers get a rune arm. So they get an arm cannon where they go like... Cool, thanks for coming, man. You have a good night. Do you get it? You go... Anyway. So basically you get to play like Mega Man or some crap, right? A lot of meth. Just a lot of meth. This guy's like, how do you run so fast? The obvious answer is just lots of meth. But the reason why I say that it takes a little bit more skill is while you are playing a melee, it means that you have to be a little bit more careful about what happens in general combat. And by general combat, I mean like, you know, if you are playing melee, you are more vulnerable to attacks. As a ranged character like the Acid Arrow build, you don't have to worry about a lot of different melee aspects. You can shoot monsters from a range. You can also you can even have your character auto-target them, so you'll just start killing stuff on screen and become like this, you know, roaming super machine gun, which is great. Super good feature. But at the same time, you know, if you're playing as a melee, while you can do a lot of damage, and even your single target damage potential is a lot higher, and your AoE damage potential is amazingly higher, you do run into a situation when you're playing as a melee character, even as a melee artificer, where you have to consider the positioning of monsters a little bit more. It's a lot easier to get surrounded. It's a lot easier because you have to get into melee. You have to get into melee with that ogre every time you want to fight it. So at low levels, it's a little bit more dangerous, especially than the archer. However, it kills a lot faster at low levels, and I think overall it would do more damage just because it is a melee build. But the cool thing is with the rune arm. Rune arms have no effect on your combat, or sorry, on your actions in combat. So what this means is that if you're playing with a rune arm or without a rune arm, you are attacking identical ways. And this is because rune arms apply no interruption effect on your combat. If you are running around, you can fire your rune arm. If you are swinging your sword, you can fire your rune arm. If you're shooting your crossbow, you can fire your rune arm. If you're in the mid-spell cast, you can fire your rune arm. If you are using the /dance command, while your character is like a drow and they're looking to the side and whatever, and they put their hand in the air, you can then fire your rune arm and fire it straight up, and it works. And this is because rune arms, for whatever reason, are programmed to be completely 100% supplementary DPS, assuming that you can actually pull the trigger competently. If you're capable of pressing the rune arm button and the fire button at the same time, as well as doing everything else, it becomes a supplementary activity. Think about like when you're playing drums and you're hitting the bass drum, right? The bass drum is something you do separate from what your hands do. And you have to do it, and you do it all the time. But it's a completely separate thing. You have to have your mind working on two different tracks. It's a similar concept. You basically have your mind working on two different tracks. One track is saying, okay, cool, I am, you know, I'm pressing my rune arm, and the other one is doing the rest of the stuff your character normally does. As a result, it does require a little bit more focus to play, but the overall damage potential is higher, and because you're an artificer, you also get a trap. It's a Warforged build as well, which means because you're an artificer, you get a lot of healing, and being an intelligence-based build, you've got a lot of mana to do said healing. So you won't really have to worry about actual sustain or keeping yourself alive. Plus, you take adamantine plating, which means you can just take a bigger beating in general. It's a pretty good build. I really enjoy it. I would love to actually play it again, but the problem is repeating builds like that is just... It's too time consuming to repeat builds, you know what I'm saying? I make them and then I move on. In theory, if you really wanted to, you could just take 2 levels of rogue, like 19 and 20, and then level up all your rogue skills. If you've already been putting points into search as a ranger, then when you take a 19 and 20 as rogue, you can pretty much just dump all your points in disable device and have almost the same skill as a max level rogue, and be able to disable stuff when you hit max level. If you're playing as a ranger, you've got evasion. Most traps shouldn't really damage you that much, especially if you're maxing out your dexterity, so you've got a really high reflex save, and you're going to be dodging almost every single trap all the time. But oh yeah, my artificer guide doesn't require any past lives. I don't write guides that require past lives. That's stupid. I am of the belief that pretty much every character in the game can be played on a first life character. Every build. If your build can't be played on a first life character, it's probably a bad build, because it means it requires a certain crutch to play. Now, there is one exception, which is spell penetration. If you want to play a character, your character, if you cast spells, will always be better if you have more spell penetration. Having wizard past lives is essential if you would like to play a CC caster. If you want to play a CC caster, you need to have 3 wizard past lives. But it is the Mega Man build. That's right. Like I said, as long as you have Artificer and Warforged, you can feel free to play it. It's a lot of fun. You just slam people with your sword. I wasn't sure if you wanted like a link. I didn't put a link in chat. I usually rely on my chat for that because I'm lazy. You know what I'm saying?
The burning city of the firebrands rises before you.
Oh, hey. Bad, Knowles. Bad. Stop it. Yeah, man. You'll give it a shot? Like an arrow shot? I can just link it in chat, actually. I have a link here. Give me a sec. Bam. Clicking a link. Boom. Boom. Bam. Click. Twist. Jenga. Check that out. There you go. My guild said Artificer, but they were all crossbow. I can't handle that sound either. Yeah, that's the thing. I can't handle the sound. The sound, like, literally made me want to take a fork and shove it so deep into my ears that I would make irrecoverable ear damage that would never allow me to hear ever again. But I figured there had to be a better way, and there is a better way. It's just play a melee. Melee is also a lot of fun. You're also going to do just more damage than if you're playing a range artificer, because melee does more damage than range. There are some exceptions to that, of course. Fury shotters do unholy amounts of damage because of the way their crits work and the multipliers. However, crossbows can't be really, or repeating crossbows are not going to be the same things as fury shotters. You're not going to have the same double damage potential. It's the unfortunate reality, but that's just the unfortunate reality. Whoop! Destroyed. Haha. Dismissed. Massive information. That's the other thing. DDO is, because it's such an old game, and so many things have changed, there's a lot of information out there. The DDO wiki is pretty up to date, but unfortunately if you don't update your guides, if you stop playing the game, that sort of thing, things can change pretty quickly. You know, one of my favorite guides was the old Warforged Juggernaut build, where you play as a pure 20 favorite soul, you slap shit, you do a lot of damage, you got a lot of health, you got a lot of damage reduction, because it was back in the days when damage reduction existed. And it was a really great build. It was a lot of fun. And you can still play it, and it is still pretty fun. But it's nowhere near as good as it used to be. And it has no mention of physical resistance rating or anything like that, because those things didn't exist at the time. You know, they added mechanics since then. Armor class was different when that build was written. So having a high armor class back then was really important. Now, having a high armor class, not that it isn't good, it will reduce the amount of damage you take. You know, and that is a good thing. But it's just not going to be as strong as it could be. So, it can be hard when you have to sift through the older information. It's one of the things I find interesting. I was actually having a discussion with one of my coworkers today at work about this. So, reviews are interesting, especially when it comes to video games. If you really like DDO, by the way, what I highly recommend, if you do download it and play it through Steam, leave a review on Steam, because those things get sorted and people do see them, and people look at reviews when they want to try out and pick up their new favorite, like try to play their new game. So I do recommend, if you do like the game, make sure you find a place where you can review it. Like I said, Steam is a great place, or anywhere else, and just, you know, write something nice, give it that good rating that you want it to be. And the thing is, reviews actually base a lot of different people's opinions. And a great example of how a review can effectively very heavily impact people's views of games is there's like a video game reviewer guy called Angry Joe, and he makes relatively entertaining content. The reviews are pretty funny, you know, and he's pretty popular. However, when the game Elder Scrolls Online first came out, he made a review of that game. Now, his review was not inaccurate. A lot of the things in that game were not very good. However, since that game was in that state in the past, it's been about 2 years, and the game is a lot more interesting than it was before. There's a lot more to do, and it is a really good game right now. And it's completely different. The stuff that the guy says in the review aren't even things that happen in the game. But if you do Google the game and the review, his reviews will come up. Even though the guy hasn't played the game in 2 years, and the review, every single point in it is invalid. And so it's important that we kind of, if you want to have something strive and you want to keep updated information, especially when it comes to DDO or other games you really enjoy, make sure to take the time to actually write that review. Because one, it helps out other players try to find it if they do enjoy it. And then two, it also keeps information up to date. Every time somebody writes a build guide, but then they take a break from the game and they don't update it, just means you kind of run into that situation where it's like, okay, well, this build guide is old. So maybe you, having more information, come up with your own build. You say, all right, I really like the Warforged Juggernaut build. It was a great build. I'm going to appropriate it and make my own Warforged Juggernaut build. So you copy and paste the idea. You say, okay, I'm going to swap out 2 levels of Favorite Soul for some Monk, and I'm going to swap out 6 levels of Favorite Soul for some Paladin. So I'm playing a 2 Monk, 6 Paladin, 12 Favorite Soul Warforged, but now I'm actually going to be a Blade Forge, so you get the healing. And you come up with this really good and interesting build. If you do something like that and you change it, why not write your own guide? Say, this guide was originally based off of this other one, put the title Warforged Juggernaut in, or put Warforged Juggernaut somewhere in the title so it comes up if somebody searches it on Google, and then all of a sudden, you have this like special updated guide. And then, boom, you're kind of like bringing the information up to the future, and you're doing that yourself. I know it's a lot to say like, well, obviously the answer is you should just do all the work yourself. You know, oh, things are out of date, so just update it. Come on, guys, just do it yourself. But unfortunately, that is the reality of the situation. Yeah, no build really needs past lives. There are some builds that are helpful with past lives, but any build that says, oh yeah, you need completionist is probably a bad build. Just to true say. Like, don't, or it's not that it's a bad build, but it's just, you don't need completionist to play this game. This is a true fact. There's like traps in this hallway, I think. I'm gonna find them. Yeah, there's traps here. Yeah, man. Exactly. Like, this character is really strong, and if you're watching me play it, you're like, damn, this character's really good. But I do have a bunch of past lives. This character is a completionist. I know, because I took the feat. Past lives? Heroic? I have the completionist feat right here, +2 to all stats and skills. So my character's really, really strong, but it's not, like, there's a lot of reasons behind that. But it doesn't take away from the fact that the build I'm playing actually is decently good. I'm also using one of the best, or the best staff in the entire game, the Elemental Bloom. So that's going to have a huge impact on my actual damage performance in this build. But, that being said, you know, it is still a pretty good build, and it is a lot of fun. Yeah. The coolest thing about DDO is you kind of just figure out what kind of character works for you. If you really like playing a range or you really like playing a melee, find new ways to play your melee and range. Find the one that works for you. DDO lets you say, okay, you like wizard, but you also like fighter, but you also like cleric. Cool, make a wizard, fighter, cleric. Maybe it won't be that good, but you find out by playing it. And you get to learn and have that experience. And I mean, goddamn, I got like 17 character slots. I mean, I bought a bunch of character slots, but there's a lot of character slots in this game. So you can like make a bunch of characters and try it out and see how you like it. So, you know, there's a lot of great ways to kind of... Whoa, I'm getting a lot of freezes here. That's weird. Ooh, I don't know why the game is like freezing so much. Maybe it's trying to load different particle effects that I didn't use before. I'm not sure. Hey, that guy took that magecraft thing. Now we gotta go this way, I think? I don't remember. We're gonna go somewhere. I think we go this way. Yeah, man, the damage is crazy on that build. It's one of the reasons why I like it so much. It's just, it's easy to play, it's new player friendly, and all of a sudden people are like, damn, man, you destroy these quests. Can you come play with us? And you're like a new guy, and you're like, yeah, I can come play with you. And they're like, oh my god, dude, like, do you have like a crazy weapon, or do you have like really good stats? Like, wow, you must have been playing this game for a long time. And you're like, yeah, and then you look at your inventory, and you have like a longbow that's like not even magic. Yeah, it's like really good. My stats are like super good. Yeah, I'm like super good at this game. You know, I basically like I'm the greatest. And then they're like, oh man, I've been playing this game for like 10 years and all my characters suck. And you're like, yeah, they do. Your characters suck. Let me teach you how it's done. You know, to feel like a badass. It's how it works.
You spy a treasure chest beyond a locked portcullis.
Yeah. And I think it's important to have guides that are absolutely not for free-to-play players and guides that are not for new players, because sometimes you don't want a new player guide. You want an expert guide that's written by an expert for experts, that really goes in depth, that talks about a lot of the math involved behind some of the skill choices and the item choices, that kind of really takes the time to dive into some of the more complex mechanics in the game and say, this is how this works, this is how the game is, you know, and kind of really detail out what's possible and show, you know, what the best outcomes will be. So I think that there has to be like different, like I said, different scales and different levels, or like, you know, different types of guides for different people. As they say, different strokes for different folks. But you know, the new player guides are important, which is why I took the time to write one. Hey man, those Expeditious Retreat boots are really good. They make you run fast. I'm a huge fan. In some cases, yes. In some cases, no. If you want to be out there, there's traps. Run through the middle of the hallway to avoid them. If you want to be like top tier, and to put in perspective, I have a character that does extremely well in Legendary Elite Slave Lords at level 30, and it's a First Life Ranger. I have no past lives whatsoever. I don't even have all my destinies maxed. I just have the gear, and I'm good at the video game. So you don't need to have past lives to make your characters good. Past lives are helpful, but like if you're playing a melee, you don't need any past lives. Like Paladin past lives are great, because if you have 3 Paladin past lives, you get healed 30% more. But you don't need it. It's in no way required. I don't know why my stick is so blurry right now. Ooh. It's actually kind of crazy. My CPU is sitting here at like 50% usage while playing DDO, and yet streaming a game like Path of Exile, which is much harder on my computer, my CPU doesn't even get close to this like used. It's kind of weird, especially because I streamed that game for like 10 hours straight. Weird. Like I said, completionist characters are fun, but they're in no way required. And I think that the completionist as a goal is a really good thing, because it kind of gives you something to strive for. If you've been playing the game for a long time and you really want to show off your skill and you want to show off your friends, having completionist is it's just a cool feature you don't get in other games. It's like saying, yeah, you know what, you took all the time, and in some games you get like a little achievement or something, but in this game it's like, yeah, you took the time to literally play and master every class that we gave you. So here you go.
Does he serve the firebrands by choice?
It's okay, man. The stream will still be here, forever and always. That's not true. Yeah, I'm turning it off in like 20 minutes, but like, that's pretty close to forever and always. God damn. I keep getting knocked out. Get up. Get up, woman. Get out of here, Valgrim. Or plat cap? Oh, come on, dude. Plat cap is not hard. You can get plat cap in like 3 weeks. Just play at level 30. Just have a level 30 character and play for a few weeks. You'll hit plat cap, I promise. Granted, if you started doing Caneth crafting, you likely won't hit plat cap because you don't sell quite as often. But if you just sell equipment, you'll hit plat cap. And if you want to hit plat cap even easier, get a level 30 character, and then when you need, every time you need to sell stuff, just go back to Evening Star, flip through the brokers, and then boom, you'll be plat capped in no time. What I like to do after I plat cap my characters is just go into the harbor and just give away like millions of gold. Like Ivashu does. Like this character got 3 million gold. I don't know, I just have it. I don't know what to do with it. I say gold when I clearly mean platinum, but
is not as oppressively hot as below. Most powerful firebrands probably dwell at these heights.
So how do you not have infinity money? I'm blown away. If I do end up making that bard build, depending on how Reaper ends up turning out. If I do end up making that bard build, that bard's going to have a ton of haggle. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, I don't know how you do that, man. Oh, sorry, pardon me, man? What? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know how you do that, man. I'm like a selling machine. Although, again, it's also different player habits. I play really, like, I do play pretty consistently. One of the reasons why I haven't been playing this game quite as often is because for the past like 7 or 8 months, I've probably played about at least 40 hours of DDO per week, which is like probably unhealthy, but whatever. I don't ask those kinds of questions. Anyway, I played a lot of DDO. Again, great thing. I love this game, but at some point you do kind of burn out just a little bit. So that's why I haven't been playing quite as often. That's why this character is only level 13, and it has been like leveling up a little bit, bit by bit, week by week. I have a big experience elixir in my backpack, like a 6-hour one, 6 hour 50%. I could probably use that elixir and then go from 15 to 20 in 6 hours, but I don't know if I'm going to do that. We'll see. Remember ages ago, lugging haggle gear up, just put on sale, just throw stuff at the vendor as fast as possible. Yeah, man. Do you remember back in the day there was Hagglebots? Do you remember the Quidgimart? I don't know if you remember Quidgimart, but back on Kyber, there was Quidgimart. There was a dude who had the highest haggle in the game, and he created a bot so that way he would basically have a character that was stocked with a certain amount of stuff, and you could buy stuff from his character. And he did it entirely, basically for free. He leveled this character, got the gear, got it so it had all its haggle stuff, and then he would set his character up, and then as long as his character was online, it had to be on a second account, so you had to pay for it, because this was before free-to-play. He had this character just sitting in town, and you would send it commands, and then you had to exchange it gold for, you have to exchange it gold for, whatever you wanted, whether it was heal scrolls or cure wands or whatever. And man, that was an amazing time with Quidgimart. See if you see this time, but the monsters turn and fight for you for a minute. Oh, like a bribery check? Oh, that'd be cool. I really like that idea, actually. I love the idea of like a use for the haggle skill. As like a charm effect. But if you kind of think of them as like mercenaries, right? It's like in that quest in the Demon Web, where Yugoloth mercenaries get summoned, and then when you go to fight the demon's like, hey Yugoloth, how much are you getting paid? I'll double it. And then they're like, fuck it, we just want money anyway, we don't really have an allegiance to anybody, and then they try to kill you, which is a terrible idea because they immediately get murdered by you. Which, I mean, it's great for you because you get bonus XP, and it's bad for them because they get murdered, but they made the wrong choice, clearly. They sided with the gigantic demon instead of like the regular-sized people, who probably are a little bit smaller than them. I mean, if you're like a halfling or something, or like a gnome. I really do like that idea, though, of like haggle having an in-combat effect where you can like charm monsters and get them to fight for you. It just feels so good. It's like so thematic. I can no pick lock. Where do we go next? I think it's back here. Yeah. There definitely could be more uses for things in game. Things like listen would be great. It would be a good feature if they actually added in a use for like listen and stuff. I will suffer your curse, Irath. Oh, that's not the right potion. Oh no, Irath's blindness. Yeah. Bribe or just kill. Well, it really depends on how you want to play. A lot of people don't like charmed monsters. Like me, I absolutely despise charmed monsters. And that's because there's too many quests where the objective is to kill everything. And so charming is counterintuitive because if you charm, it basically means you're slowing down quests, which is like just kind of crappy. Yeah. Use for gems would be nice. Yeah. As opposed, well, I don't know. Gems as just being a sellable item is just classic Dungeons and Dragons, though. Like, if you look at loot tables, if you've ever read, like, Dungeon Master's Guide, anything like that, the Dungeon Master's Guide will always have, like, a thing on the loot table. It'll be, like, gems. And you can roll for the different types of gems that you get. One, because some of those gems might actually mean something to the players in the game. Say you might be playing a character who likes to collect sapphires. Every time you find a sapphire, your character, instead of selling it, would rather just keep the sapphire. So if you get 50 gold pieces worth of gems, and it's like, or you get, like, a sapphire worth 50 gold or something, you're like, cool, I have this cool ass sapphire. You could just decide to keep that, and you could use it as like for like just the role play of your character and to expand upon your character and to make them feel a little bit more real. In DDO, they carry on that tradition of dropping gemstones in treasure chests because gemstones do make great treasure. The problem is they have absolutely no functional purpose in the game anymore because gold is valueless and they just take up crappy, shitty inventory slots. So I don't know. Ah, traps. So I don't know what the real answer is. You know, if you think back to gems, how they're used in certain other games, gems back in the day in Asheron's Call 1, I say back in the day because you can't, I don't think you can cast spells using spell components anymore. But back in the day in Asheron's Call 1, your gems used to be your spell components. So you would use certain gems and you'd have to crush them. So you could either buy them and buy your spell components, or you could find gems while questing and then crush them yourself to get the dust. Because they were expensive, and so your spells being expensive was a bad thing. Any way to reduce the gold cost of your spells was a good way to stay ahead of the curve. Because gems were expensive, you had to buy the scarabs, which cost money. Playing a spellcaster was just an expensive endeavor, and usually you'd want to have both a melee character and a spellcaster character. The melee character who would get the money to support the gem cost of your spells for your spellcaster character. A concept that you can't do anymore. People would hate that because they'd be like, well, I don't have to have two characters and blah blah blah, but yeah, man, Asheron's Call 1 is amazing. Oh, you can? That's awesome. I just wasn't sure if they completely eliminated it with Foci. I thought you couldn't. Whoa! It's not that you don't have to; it's that you can't. The reason I say you can't is because with the old spell research, you could get all the portals. So you could get like portal to Sanctuary and other places that you currently can't get portals to. As well, you could even learn Bunny Smite, which is an uncastable spell, but you can learn it, or you could have learned it with the old spellcrafting system. Or spell research system. So, I mean, I still play Asheron's Call 2. I don't play Asheron's Call 1. The game is like a little bit too old for me, just because I find the game system, like the combat system, is not that interesting. And it's also changed a lot since when I played it, with like the million races, the shield skill, dual wielding, all sorts of stuff that just wasn't there when I played. Good changes, good features, just it's different. I cannot kill this guy. Why? I hate displacement. Why do you do this? Good, he's dead. Piece of crap. But when I played Asheron's Call 1, I played a sword guy. A sword guy is a guy who uses sword. That might sound crazy, but back then sword was a skill. So as opposed to like now where it's like one-handed weapons and two-handed, or like I think it's light weapons and heavy weapons or something. Back then it was like, oh, you had sword, or you had mace, or you had axe, or you had whatever. You had to specialize in a weapon, which is kind of cool. And I was a sword guy because you gotta be a sword guy. Swords are cool, man. Cool. Good job, man. I was a huge fan of that. And then at some point I made a dagger guy as well. I thought dagger guy was really cool because you're kind of like cheating the system. You play as an Alluvian, so you get daggers for free. Then you can easily specialize it because it only costs you 2 extra points to specialize. So you had so many extra skill points to do other stuff. So then you could actually like specialize like life magic or like arcane lore. Yeah, man, fucking sword guys. I don't know. I don't do Crystal Cove because Crystal Cove sucks. That's might be an unpopular opinion, but I hate it. Thanks for the group, man. I'm going to take a bit of a break. Good playing with you. Leave party. But, yeah, old sword, guys. I'm going to take my items. Okay, I'm looking for mostly for robes right now. This dodge bonus 6? That's pretty good. What is this? I think I have a belt of Con 5. Yeah, so I can replace my bracers with dodge bracers. Just going to put this on. So it's going to give me an extra 6% dodge, I think. So it's going to pop me up to 26% dodge, which is really good for a level 13 character. We're also going to pick up no robes in any capacity. Covert Ring of Devotion. I have a devotion item, I think. Yeah, Devotion 51 necklace. So I'm going to look at a necklace. I don't see any necklaces. Sturdy Cloak, I don't really want that. We're going to just take Deceiving Goggles. Next, thank you, Scaver. My goggles, these give accuracy. Mine give Secret Deadly, though. So I don't think I have an accuracy item at all. No, I have an accuracy Wisdom helmet. If I get more Wisdom, that'd be pretty good, but I'm not sure if that's something I'm actually able to accomplish. Unfortunately, none of these is going to give me more fortification. I'm trying to get more fortification. So, nope, that's it. I just don't like it because every time it comes by, it basically makes the game unplayable into this like slow, sluggish mess where like everything starts to lag, the monsters don't follow their pathing anymore, and it's just not something I enjoy. I also enjoy the fact that I'm not getting any drops that I want from these these items, but oh well, that's just the way things happen. Come on, give me something good. Tactful goggles. It's just not what I want. I'm not a very tactful person, so. Wait, what did I just pick up? Disable device 10 of Insightful Disable device 6? That's a pretty good set of goggles, I'm going to be honest. Magnetic, Alkaline, Insightful Corrosion. Ugh. 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 Bad items. I'm going to take level 14 real quick. I've done all the level 12 quests, or the level 11 ones, so might as well just bump myself up a level. But yeah. Now, I like a lot of the old games. I'm a huge fan of this game, of course, and I'm a big Turbine fan in general. I played pretty much all of the good Turbine games. You know, your Ashen's Call 1, your Asheron's Call 2. Played both those games to death. Your Dungeons & Dragons Online, Lord of the Rings Online, I've already said it many times. My favorite adventure zone of any game I've ever played is the Mines of Moria from Lord of the Rings Online, and my favorite class from any game I've ever played is the Warden class. There's a lot of things I don't like about that game, like pretty much everything that happened after 2000 and everything that happened after 2012 I didn't really like. But I really like pretty much everything or a lot of the stuff that I enjoyed in that game. So damn, do I get no I get no granted class feats. That kind of sucks. I guess I'm higher level now. Yay. Level 14. I don't know if that's cool or not. My backpack's completely full. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. I hope you had a fantastic time here on the Strimstream. Now, if you've never had the chance to actually catch me before, and you're like, man, this guy's so cool, Strimtom is like amazing, I wish I could watch him all the time. Did you know that you can actually do that? That's right. I, Strimtom, stream on my own YouTube channel, or not YouTube channel, on my own Twitch channel, which I'm going to link for you right here. And if you'd like to see me more frequently, I'm not pointing anywhere in particular, but you could go ahead and follow me on there. I stream semi-frequently, but if you want to know entirely when I stream beforehand, I don't currently have a schedule because of, you know, being full-time employed and all that. You know, I'm working like 65 hours this week, so I can't actually stream all the time. If you want to catch me, and you want to know when I'm streaming ahead of time, you can follow me on Twitter right up there. Sometimes I also post like insightful or funny things, usually not very frequently because I'm lazy, if I'm being just totally honest. But if I ever write a guide, it'll go up there and things like that. So, but yeah, so like I said, if you are interested and you want to see more Strimtom, I don't just stream Dungeons & Dragons Online, I also stream other games, Path of Exile, things like that. I might stream a little bit of Elder Scrolls as well. We're going to have some fun with that. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you've had a super awesome night. You can catch more cool DDO action on from me, every single Monday from 7 to 10 here on the DDO stream. So if you want to see that, you can also follow there. Is there anything else I need to plug here today before the stream is over? No, I don't think so. I think that's pretty good. So, hope everyone had an awesome time. I did. You guys were really fun to talk to today. And it was good. I had a blast. I had like a great time, okay? It was just good. It was good. I didn't even finish my beer. My God. I feel like a savage. Had like 3 hours and didn't even drink a beer. All I did, though, was I definitely ignored my girlfriend who was texting me. Which is a bad idea. Yeah, I should respond to that. Okay, bye. Thanks for watching. Have a great night. You didn't follow me back on Twitter. Did I not do that? Maybe I should do that. What's that project? I don't generally. I follow a lot of people. I have no idea who you are on Twitter. So just send me a tweet and I'll do it. I have no backbone. So if you just send me a tweet and say, "Hey, please follow me on Twitter," I'll probably just do it. It's a pro tip. Pro tip: guide to manipulating Strim Gym. Because I don't have a follower named that project. So okay, bye.